Hey gang, this is Fillmore, just letting you know that if you enjoy our podcast, quite frankly, a Howard Stern podcast, and you'd like to donate some money for the upkeep, or you want to request certain clips, please donate to our Patreon page at patreon.com/JimFix. That's JIMFIXX. You can donate as much as you want for as long as you want. There's absolutely no obligation.
How many friends do you really have? People you confide
2.
in. Confide in.
Oh, 1.
Confide in.
1.
Who is that?
Beth.
That is not your friend.
Who is it?
Why couldn't it be a friend?
But why
couldn't she be my friend?
She could be your friend, but she's your wife. I'm talking about friends.
Well, she just
outside.
became my wife.
Oh, stop it.
All right, I have one other. My psychiatrist.
That's not a friend.
I don't confide in any friends. I wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't trust any of my friends. You should see who my friends are.
Well, that's what you call a friend. Somebody you can trust.
Nah. I would say Don Buckwell, my agent. I would say I'm so close to him, he knows everything that if I know I can go to him and tell him anything and he won't judge me.
I don't know if it's a friend.
And I've told him some shit.
That's another person you pay.
Yeah, I don't have any friends I don't pay.
You do a show here, if it's successful or not, it doesn't matter.
And the one thing I don't respond well to is humiliation. I don't respond well to it at all. You know, I don't want to be told what a shithead I am. I don't want to. You know, those days are over. I've suffered enough in this business. I don't need to find out what a shithead I am.
Listen, there are people who are at a job too long. They're not into it. They can't admit it to themselves. But nobody cares around here. Nobody sits here and gets worried about ratings. It's a joke.
Well, you don't need ratings here.
So I'm cured. I'm not going to be cured of any. I am me. I am just going to a psychiatrist so that I can feel better about certain issues in my life. That's all. Yeah, somehow I believe Leno will just end up at 11:30. But anyway, they're announcing today that, first of all, Jay Leno's such a douchebag. He's the #1 late night guy. He gets like $20 million a year. He could be getting $50, $60 million a year, but he doesn't want it. Like, that just skeeves me out and makes me think he's a bigger asshole than I've ever, it's just like, oh, what is that? Like, why is it you won't take more money?
The money, yeah.
Like, what are you trying to prove? You're every man. You're making $25 million. I mean, no one's relating to you.
Every man.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I got enough money, and, I live on my stand-up.
I mean, if you're a star, it's probably the worst time to be a star because you don't get your ass kissed nearly as much as they would have in, the fucking Errol Flynn days when he was banging underage girls and hence the term in like Flynn and still getting movie roles. Do you know what I mean? The avarice, the sort of the level of kiss-assery, it's still huge if you're a star and if you're hot. There's no question. But the downfall, like now there are possible pitfalls for these stars if their scandal is big enough, if it reaches far enough, and if it trends. Now you got Twitter, you got Facebook. Like, look at Jeff Ross. Jeff Ross has recently gotten in all kinds of fucking trouble, and it looks bad for him. There's no two ways about it. I don't typically like to go after comics or whatever, but I mean, if the stuff looks legit, like, is that an expression? If it looks like shit and it smells like shit, it's probably shit. Sure. And I mean, that would have been wiped under the carpet 20 years ago and may have been. I mean, that's the whole point. Sam?
But also, too, Twitter is exposing. So these people who are, 100 millionaires are trying to relate to their audience that is middle-class people or whatever on Twitter. And it's exposing them for the frauds that they are all the time. Right. They don't care. They don't know. They don't relate. They can't relate. And it's constant. And if I can give a plug during this, it's listen to Jimmy Dore. He's amazing. He's a comic. He does a political show. And he actually talks about Howard. He did a really fucking hilarious show when Hillary Clinton went on with Howard. And he's like, yeah, he relates. He's a 50 millionaire. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think I don't think Howard's remaining fans or even the ex super fans like us would care I never thought he related to me ever. We just liked it was fucking funny. That's the whole point. They would not care one iota if he washed his own vegetables or grapes or strawberries, whatever the fuck. They wouldn't care if he didn't have a limo and stuff like that. It's just Be entertaining. Do what you're supposed to do. That minimum. The bar is set so low, and you can't even fucking leap. You can't even high jump past that centimeter, or sorry, that inch, guys. And this is what we're left with. Fuck it. So anyway, this let's continue with this one because we've got a lot to get through.
People's desires,
Yeah,
right?
right. And if Beth wants cats, fine, we'll get cats. But I would prefer we didn't. But I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. I mean, what am I gonna do? I guess I got to go along with it.
You're going to love them.
So there it is. I mean,
You're going to love them.
I love Beth. I love what.
Do you want to compromise and just get one?
Listen.
Oh God, this is.
I'd rather get 0. But if you're going to bring
That's not a compromise.
Let's compromise and get nothing.
Now, doesn't it sound very much the way he speaks, the way he sort of defers to her here, like the last Allison thing we played before we went on to Beth? I'm not going to confront her. I'm not going to actually tell her, no more fucking cats. When he totally could.
Shooting
Something
gallery.
happened before this. Something happened before this to give her the balls to go on the air and say, we're getting cats. You're going to love them. The way she said that in her forceful way when she's normally like, I love cats and animals. They're okay.
As if
something
to say, Sam,
happened.
As if to say that they had an arrangement, like she said, well, no, if you're not going to do this, then we're getting more fucking cats.
I'm not getting a kid. Meow.
Welcome to the cat cave.
Yeah, they have nothing but arrangements.
Yeah,
there's nothing there that's real.
Right.
That's yeah. Go ahead.
I just wish it could wait. I wish.
Wait for what?
Let the year go by. Let me see if we're going to be on. If I'm going to be on the radio.
The year's almost over.
No. I mean, the year of radio. We're under a lot of stress right now. We're working on the apartment, and that's not easy.
You think a cat is a lot to handle, and you need to be free of work?
I've owned a cat before. So
now, okay, we're gonna get again 30-second clip rule, guys. We got to do this, but again, there's like
I love Bob's face right now. Bob is like sweet satisfaction.
Smug.
I just adore it.
You think he's dealing with that cat? You think this is about the cat?
I know.
He's never gonna see this cat.
Well, it just made me think of how Robin sent her horse to the glue factory, and she had cats that I think she stuffed a couple cats. I can't remember. She had them sent to the taxidermist.
Bianca would be a fucking floaty. I mean, he wouldn't give a shit.
No, and I mean when in the divorce, I mean he did lose the dog. The dog stayed with Alice.
Java.
Oh,
you think he gives a fuck about Java? Java probably bothered him when he was jerking off to 9 Inch Nails with fucking Barry Face Ralph. Give me a break.
Exactly. So
I know that they're low maintenance and stuff, but they do get into everything. And you know what? You can't just say you're going to ignore a cat. You got to take care of a cat.
Who's ignoring the cat?
Yeah, what are you doing?
You got to be involved. And I'm not prepared. Listen, I don't want to get involved with a cat right now.
You're so silly.
But Beth does, so.
He wants nothing to do with pussy. It's from through and through and through.
I want to be involved with the cat right now.
Is that another drop? Is that another drop?
Could you please put that at the beginning of our next show? I'm
okay. Hold on.
Dying.
Okay, this might be the funniest sentence I got to write down. Isolate. I don't want to get involved with a cat.
What does Howard want to be involved with? What does he want to do?
Oh my god!
Go to fucking therapy?
If it wasn't for Allison, those 3 kids would be. Oh my god! CPS would be there. I mean, he wouldn't feed them, look at them, talk to them.
Could you imagine Howard on the Titanic with Allison and the kids jumping headfirst into the boat?
Oh fuck that! He'd be Billy Zane. He'd be like, "Peace out, immigrant. You're done." He's going in the boat.
First life jacket going to Howard.
He's stepping on people's heads, getting it.
Rip it right off of his kid.
And you know what? He'd see the other ladies that are not going to get on the boat. And he'd fucking be like, listen, you're going to die anyways. Just give me the jewelry.
Exactly.
Well, they definitely put him on the old lady boat. There's no doubt about that.
The geezer craft.
He's
Yep.
on the fucking Golden Girls fucking
Yeah.
canoe.
His daughter will
Be
at least
unafraid.
fucking row. I mean, his little daughter will row. So it's
Oh,
Ashley, faster, you little shit.
You know, if she does, and then I got to go along with it. What am I going to do?
You'll be fine. I'm sure you can handle it.
Yeah, am I saying the right thing?
No.
Why? I think I'm saying the right thing. I'm going to embrace the cat if the cat comes, and
If the cat comes,
if the cat doesn't come, I'd be happy too.
I'd be.
Yeah, Sam, go ahead.
who is going to approve of what he's saying? Am I saying the right thing? I mean, is there like a fucking producer in the background for this cat segment? What is going on?
Freddie de Cordova.
It's just so shitty. He's just fucking cutting her off, and he like.
And he
it's
volleys
just,
in the background. No.
yeah, like it's just fucking dehumanizing. Like she's begging him to get a like that everybody knows he has nothing to do with. There's nobody in there that really thinks Howard's gonna be feeding this cat, or we even know the cat's there or anything. It's just him taking away from her. That's
Right.
it. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Well, to him, there really is no difference between the potted plant, the maid, the cat, and Beth, and some fixture in the kitchen.
You're correct. They're
Right.
all the same. People are no different.
he bought them all.
Yes.
I've taken up a new hobby. It's called eyeball carving.
Can you imagine what the Halloween pumpkins would look like at the Ostrowski house? It would all just be cat's heads with no eyes.
Oh,
Watching
please. That fucking, that.
What,
that
the latest
old
Instagram?
queen could never carve a pumpkin.
Oh,
His
geez.
hand would fall
God,
off.
he doesn't know what a pumpkin is. I mean, he's probably scared
Not
of them.
cat, but
Yeah.
you know, you're a person and you have a right. So there you go.
Thank you.
We have a
thank
right.
you.
You think Bianca will embrace the cat, Howard?
Yeah, we know because Beth had a consultation with a pet psychic,
Okay.
and the pet psychic said Bianca will welcome the cats into the house.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you imagine? I'm gonna go hang myself.
Go ahead.
Oh my God. He had Sylvia Brown on. He did segments upon segments of what ridiculous nonsense bullshit psychics are. He constantly railed against them. He has this moron, slow adult, get a pet psychic for Bianca to see if it's going to be okay with the cats. You might as well get a homeless person on a subway and put a fucking turban on her, call her a gypsy, and say, "Hey, is it going to be good?"
But no, that's what he's saying. He's saying,
I
she got
know.
a pet
Well,
psychic.
why
Can
would
you
he even
imagine?
approve
He's
this?
like, this idiot got a pet. This is his fucking life that he has on the goddamn radio. And he's saying, "Can you believe this? This idiot got a psych." Like, you guys
why
are
would
both
he
in
approve of
relationships or
this?
marriage. Would you ever humiliate the person you're with? Like, if somebody did this to me, and we had a certain agreement, like, yeah, this asshole got a pet psychic or whatever, I'd be like, dude, as soon as we leave here, I'm gonna fucking break your face. Like, this
Well,
is
yeah, imagine,
ridiculous.
like at a birthday party or some gathering with loads of people, and then decide, oh, guess what this asshole just did?
Exactly.
Okay, that's bad, but I blame, again, Howard for why would you approve of a pet psychic? I mean,
Well,
why?
she did it without asking him, obviously.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah.
And he's
Oh,
holding
okay.
it against her.
Yeah. And so the idea that he would have loved to have seen the look on his face when he found out she went to a pet psychic. And all
Holy
he was
fuck, it's
thinking
like going on
yeah.
Jerry Springer. Like, what are you doing?
exactly.
Right? What did the pet psychic say, honey?
Bianca will love the cats.
Bianca, bark twice if you want the cats. Oh, only once. Bark once if you don't want cats. Oh, she doesn't want the cats.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Honey, don't go.
I'd
Yeah.
go.
I'm embracing.
Yeah.
All right,
It's
go listen.
humiliating.
Yeah, well, and that's why she left. She left his ass because why the fuck
Ridiculous.
am I going to put myself through this?
Yeah, this is straight up abuse.
Mhm.
Like,
Right, but he's the
we
one
all
who
have-
picked the humiliating, dumb model wife. You
But-
picked this fucking dunce.
But
You
he's-
picked it.
He's exploiting, like, everyone has goofy stuff that they're into. I
Yes.
have goofy stuff that I'm into. Everybody on here has goofy stuff that we're into. We're trashing a guy that hasn't been relevant in 20 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
what
course.
are we doing right now?
This
But,
is
like,
one of those goofy things. Yes, we admit.
when you know someone like believes in that stuff, and I've seen crazier shit than that, you know,
Oh, yeah.
like to just bring that on the radio and just like humiliate someone with that, like that's so ruthless and hard-hearted. Like,
Okay, I agree with you because here's a good example. If I said, like, for example, we're doing this podcast, and like, remember when I said, my boyfriend looks like he would, beat you up with a lead pipe and throw you in the trunk of a car?
I've seen him, and I'll confirm that. Yeah.
He looks like he's fucking,
He looks like
Yeah.
he looks like a leg breaker for the Gambinos. Go ahead.
He's not a guy
very
I'm not
scary.
pushing around at all.
Yeah.
Right.
So of course I've said that to him and like joke around about it and I said that to Fillmore and Fillmore knows who he is. If I would have just said, hey, what's up? You got food? I'm doing my podcast. You want to like come upstairs? And then I said, hey guys, look, doesn't he look like A, B, C, and D? That's embarrassing. If I didn't originally bring up the fact that I've talked about this with him before.
And then
About
Rick
that,
and then
Or
Rick
if
says,
you
why? Why do you want to go on the podcast?
or if you brought him up and you're like, doesn't he look like he'd kill you guys if you saw him? And we're like, he's like, wow, that's what I am. Like, I'm a guy.
Yeah,
that
that's
looks like
that's what it would be if it
like,
was
I
bad.
guess. Yeah, exactly. Like, he just completely sandbagged her and fucking abused her and whatever we want to say. Like, we all think it's goofy, but
Yeah.
You're
that
right,
wasn't-
but that's
that
what
wasn't
that's the
okay the
point,
way
though.
he
You're right.
like that wasn't right the way that he went about that. It just
And remember, guys, it was also in studio. She was actually in studio for this. I mean, I
Yeah.
got TV, just audio. You're not seeing the visual, but he did it again in the place where he's got his all fucking flying monkeys around, waiting to, go along with whatever he's got to say within reason, and so they can only go so far. And she knows that too.
Remember what I keep saying, that they will pull you into a trial and they'll have all their star witnesses and they'll have everything already laid out before you even know you're going into a trial. So the second you get in there, you're like, I didn't even know I was on trial. And you're like, oh, well, good luck. We got 6 witnesses all here that agree with me, by the way.
Right. So I'm telling you right now, because I'm not one of those people that can't say I'm rethinking my position in this. See, I always think like Beth is she's obviously complicit in some ways, but now I'm giving a little and saying I think that he is embarrassing her on purpose right here.
Yeah.
And as stupid as I think it is that she did this, and I do think it's stupid, it is embarrassing because he knows his audience will think it's stupid and he's making her look bad.
I'll say this. He knows that meant something to her. He knows that was important to her. And he humiliated her on that, which is such an abusive thing to do.
But when you're sick, you're miserable anyhow.
Yeah.
But
I'm miserable
I will
all the
be there
time.
for you for whatever you need me to be. But you're
Thank you.
fine. You're not going to be sick once you get on the
My
plane.
whole chest is on fire.
Stop it.
No, what do you mean stop?
You're
When you say
not.
stop it, though, you're saying it like I could will this away.
You can.
It's a cold and sore throat.
Now, by the way, guys, I apologize for not giving a little talk into this because usually I do, but this was from, God, 8 years ago, I would say maybe. It was a Howard TV thing that Sam and Bob both said, we got to play this one. It's just a little promo, but within their time, you can hear why we're playing it. He's being a neurotic shithead again, and she's like, you can tell already. What was it? The discard you're saying? She's feeling like fuck you, honey. This is it's not so much sweet love anymore. It's more like get over it, you fucking pussy.
Well, I think about this as like, okay, so she knows she's coming on the show, and he's
Yes.
pulling this "I'm sick" card
Yeah.
on the air when you know for a fact that they've done nothing for how long socially, that they don't go anywhere, they don't travel. Beth is basically on lock.
Yep.
And this is her only time to get to be able to socialize and get the fuck out of Castle Gay Skull. So it's like, you know that she's just like, okay, like enough. You're fine. I have a
Yeah.
tickle in my throat.
She knows that she's gonna take the brunt of what's going on with him. Like, if he's sick, it's going to be her fault. Everything someone else's fault. It's her fault. And even when he thought, I don't know, when his most recent thing that he had a cough, he's like, I think Beth went out one day, and there's like everything is somebody.
Oh, he's a
else's
contact
fault.
tracer.
Shake
Lasts
it.
for a
24
month.
hours. Shake it. You're
How can I
fine.
shake
It's gonna
it?
last for a month now.
I want to
Oh my
shake
God.
it.
You're obsessed.
Yeah, because I have to work. If I didn't have to work, I wouldn't even
That's
care.
the problem.
Yeah,
You're
but I got to
worried.
use my voice. I got to be up. I got to perform for that show.
Will it away.
By the way, what is your name?
By the way, I didn't bleep it, guys. That was in the actual video. I don't know why they had to bleep it. It's a swear word or something.
I think she called him
wait.
a fag.
Maybe.
See, you're coming to our side now. I know. But did
Bob's
you just
doing,
hear this?
Bob's just doing his impression of a guy who thinks Howard's Bustos. Anyway, go ahead, Sam.
Do you hear though? She goes. He goes. I have to perform. And his voice has never been stronger than ever. He sounds fine. You know, he's just like, he might as well be giving the Gettysburg Address. It's great. And he's sitting there expounding, and she goes, will it away. And that pissed him off because he believes in the Sarno technique of mentality and illness in mind and body.
Yes,
He
that's all
expounds on this.
psychosomatic.
He expounds on this so religiously that he believes that when you're gay, you can will it away. And your back pain is just in your head. It's
Right.
all in your head. So she knows this, and she says, will it away. That
Right.
pissed him off so bad that instead of responding to that, he goes, what is your name, by the way?
No, I think she's saying, be a man. Like, just fucking, like, we know that if you get this, you're going to take it out on everybody around you. Like,
Right.
let's not even go there. Just fucking be a man. You don't have a cold. Just be a
wash your-
fucking man. Forget it.
wash
Bob,
your
what is
fucking-
your name? What is your name?
Wash your fucking pussy.
Is it Beth Stern now? Because the TV show, it's Beth Stern. Here you wrote Beth O. Stern.
I don't know.
What is your name? I don't even know. Gary.
Sometimes you use a middle initial.
How would you not know? Come on. Come on.
Okay, good job, fucking Robin, mopping up the fucking puke behind you. It's insane. By the way, Beth should have said, oh, you want to talk about name right now? She should have pulled the Allison. Howard, I'll talk about this when you're being less of a cunt and address the fact you're faking sick.
Yeah.
Peace
absolutely.
out.
Yeah. And the only person allowed to use the tickle in their throat is Robin when she didn't go to Gary's party.
Sure.
Gary asked me what your name is, and I said, honest to God, I don't know.
I go by Beth Stern. I
You
just
do?
have not legally changed it.
Yeah, go ahead, Bob. You were going to say?
So again, you know, you brought it up in your show about Ellen, where he brought up, I heard that people don't like working with her. And we go back to when they
No, we
loaded
did?
up on, yeah, and we go back to when did they load up on stuff? When are they loading up on things to really use against you that they have? And here we have this thing where it's disagreeable. So what does he do? He immediately goes to something low. By the way, when are you changing your name?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay, I didn't know this completely separate issue, but you've been sitting on that for a minute, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
You're right, because with Ellen, it was like all of a sudden in his head, he's like, I don't have my dream job on prime time of sitting next to Randy Jackson saying, you're going, you're in, you're
Yeah.
the next American Idol. So what am I going to do? Ellen needs a dick. Like,
Yeah.
how long have you been sitting on the pantsuit for?
Yeah, exactly.
Why not?
It just is a whole thing.
It's a process. But why not just do it already and become...
What does it entail? Is that like going and doing that whole driver's license
Yeah,
thing?
you know what?
and- yeah.
I'll work on that.
No, you won't.
I love that. That was like throwing a little knife. Like as you're hugging someone, you just as you get out of the hug, you throw a fucking shiv in their back.
You know
Yeah,
that like little movie star like slap when you go like slap to one side, slap to the other, like flip flop, like it looks like a little flipper, like that's
Yeah.
what that reminded me of, like pew, pew, like
Yeah.
French slap or something.
That's a
I love.
big way. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I just love Robin. Incidentally, it was just it was just a side thing. But she goes, "What does that entail?" She's never done it herself legally. She never to change her name, but most people know what it entails. You have to get a lawyer legally to change your name. That's all it is. I mean, or you could do it when you get married in the ceremony. That's the way of saving money on a lawyer. Sam.
So my family, my dad, our last name, my sister and I and my cousin Lauren are the last ones with that name. So my sister didn't change her name.
She didn't adopt she didn't go hyphenated. I hate fucking hyphenated names, guys.
She
I'm
didn't
sorry. Who I'm
hyphenate it.
offending.
She didn't change it. I mean, she's legally married, but she just didn't change her name.
Okay, well, fair enough.
I mean, like, you can not do it, but I mean, it's
Sure.
not like it's not like her husband was like surprised after they got married and said, "Hey, by the way, what's your name?" I mean, they discussed it beforehand. So that's another weird quib. Like, what do you mean? What is your name? You're her husband. Shouldn't you know?
Shouldn't you know exactly? Yeah, Bob, you were going to say. I didn't mean to cut you off.
He did know, and if anybody out there is listening that's dealt with covert narcissists, they'll definitely resonate with this. And that being with a covert narcissist, it's similar to the boxing style of Floyd Mayweather. Like, it's little counter punches, it's little jabs over and over and over, so that no one can ever actually say like, oh yeah, they hit me with an overhand right, like Howard hit me one night or whatever. It's always his little thing right there. No, you won't. What was he saying? He's like, you're an asshole. You don't care about any of this shit. You're not going to do it. You're a fucking bum. That's what he was saying. So it's like those little jabs, but the way that Mayweather fights is those little jabs over time, they add up.
That's such a great analogy.
That's what it's like being with covert narcissists. Is like, this is what makes their abuse so insidious, is no one can say, oh yeah, one night he called me a worthless whatever gold digger. It's like, yeah, he just kind of one night implied I was an asshole that wouldn't change my name, and then one night he just it's like all these little jabs.
One night he implied that he didn't know what I was wearing, and then brought it up on the air and said, "Oh,
exactly."
Yes.
Like imagine right now, and I don't think it's overstating what you said to me off the mic, but imagine if you said something that I didn't agree with. Let's say you didn't agree with this point, Sam. You're like, I don't think he's doing that. And I go, man, Sam thinks the Buffalo Bills are a great football team. Now, I don't know what's going on in football, but let's just say I'm like, man, this chick thinks the Bills are going to win. Like, they're a terrible team. Now, I don't know what the Bills are doing personally. I'm not a big football guy, but like, I just unleashed this thing, and you're probably sitting there thinking like, wow, that was a private conversation that I didn't think you would go to. And by the way, I hope that that's not overstepping. Like, I think everybody knows you're, from Western New York.
No, I'm saying like, you're exactly right. Like, what if Bob's talking about like when one of us have to take a break or something,
right?
And we're talking about sports. And I was talking about how I go to the home opener for the last 13 years of my life. And I am obsessed with the Bills, regardless if they've been losers. And I think they have a chance to be actual winners. And it was the first time last year that they've made it to the playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. If he would have came back on air and then said, like, why would you think?
But after
correct,
you disagreed with me. And then I disclosed something that you told me in confidence. that, and it wasn't a thing in confidence. It wasn't like a personal thing. He was
No,
from
but
Buffalo,
it's
like the
just
Bills. But
how
it's just
you're
like
taking it.
exactly.
You're
So like
using it. You're
I'm
storing it like
I'm
fucking
storing
ammunition or food.
and I'm using it to humiliate. You know,
You're
like
stuck.
I'm framing it
Don't
in
worry.
a way that's going to be detrimental to you. Like,
This
and
this
again,
analogy. The only thing that sucks is this analogy might not work because I am a Bills fan and wide right. So
hey,
Hold on.
going.
I'm a Bears fan. I don't think they've won a game in like 5 years. I don't
Listen,
know.
I'm like a narcissist militia. I'm stockpiling on shit against you, so I can talk shit about Bob's faggy
Yeah.
IPAs or whatever he's
Yes.
drinking. Yeah,
I
right.
definitely am. For the
Exactly.
record, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
drinking
Yeah,
IPAs.
but it's in the morning here, guys. So I'm not even close to being that drunk yet. So, yeah, you're right. It's like the bat. It's like Adam West always had the bat something. Let me break out my bat shark repellent.
Exactly.
Wakes
But
doing
it's
the
always
same thing.
it's always done in an unconventional way, where it's like, oh, I didn't know that was coming up. Like I didn't know.
And at a time where it's incongruous and makes no sense in a logical progression of a conversation where you would have discussion, because you're first going on about, I have a cold. Didn't you change your name yet? It's like sleight of hand. Whoa. Let's talk about Picasso, and then all of a sudden, how about look at the fucking offense on the Bills?
Yeah. Exactly.
It really is. It's really like an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where you're like, I just thought you were like a normal hot girl, and all of a sudden it's like a steak, and like she's fucking, triple axling your fucking ass in the head of a locker. It's like, whoa, where did that come from?
I might have to use that Buffy the Vampire Slayer Photoshop for this episode. All right, so this next one, guys, is one of our top most wanted clips that we've wanted to play, and as part of this specifically, it's 2012 when Beth was in the middle of making that abortion, Mom Caves, and King of All Blacks called in as if to say that there's a selfie taken by her and this guy Jared, the host, who clearly looks like he can bench press her and Wig together and still have like hand room to fucking eat a burger.
Is he gay?
Someone said that. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
At some point, someone did say I heard that, but I don't recall, and I really don't give a fuck because it still created this great clip.
Oh yeah, he's still hot. I mean,
where Howard basically we'll show the picture on the video this isn't a visual walkthrough, but we'll add the photo just so people know exactly what we're talking about. And he at first Wig goes, you'll hear it in the clip. At first, King of All Blacks calls in as if he's bringing it up for the first time. Then Howard says something like, "I know what you mean." Yeah, what is that picture? He in the middle of saying, "I know what you mean." So that means it was totally back office planned. Gary goes, "Okay, King, are you ready? Yeah, you're going to come in and talk about this shit. You're going to bring it up organically, faux organically, so Howard's not the asshole here." And then all of a sudden, and then later by the end, he's going, "Oh, look what you did, King. You started this between me and my wife." So it's a series of like the circular saw of narcissism going, like covert narcissism, where he's going, "It's not my fault. She did this." And now King of All Black did this. And Gary's going, "You're making trouble." It's amazing. And it's a long clip. I'm sorry, guys, but we're going to push through it. Sam?
I literally think this reminds me of like planted FBI propaganda in the media. Like you're having this situation happen because you're planting the story, and then you're taking the story into your own hands and weaving it in this way, even though you're the one who wanted this known. It's absolutely fucking propaganda nonsense.
Yeah.
Very, very scary.
Yeah, Bob.
Again, this might be and I hate to keep doing this, maybe the 10th time I brought it up. Again, we have someone who's built a case, has corroborating witnesses, bringing someone into a trial that they did not know they were coming in on, that already has an entire case built against them. And the other thing I want people to gather when they hear this is the stark difference of Alice's last call for the K-Rock Jingle Bell, and the difference in the way that Alice addresses him and the difference of the way Beth addresses him, because I almost view this as the anti-call to what Alice did. So.
Yeah. All right, ready to go?
Yep.
Oh, that's very interesting, and you're right, by the way.
I didn't hear the one where the guy's wife is nagging him.
I haven't either.
Yeah. Funny. King of All Blacks, haven't spoken to you in a while. What's happening? Oh, I have to take a break, don't I?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let me.
I love it. Oh, I have to take a break. I'm gonna add this, throw this in to make it seem even more authentic. Like, oh, this is all natural. He's just calling in. I'm just picking up on him.
Oh, and by the way, the breaks, like, I have to take a break.
But he doesn't for the next 20 fucking minutes.
By the way, they were so previously noted for when he had to take a break that he would never even mostly announce it, because they were so planned, because he would be so aggravated when he did notice it, and he was like, I have to take a break? That was the tone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
yeah, quick, because I didn't realize I have to take a break.
All right. Yeah, I saw a picture. I ain't going to say the guy's name. I ain't going to give him no credit. But I saw a picture of a guy with your wife on Twitter, and it made me mad as hell. Like, the way she was holding him was disrespectful, I think.
Yeah, Sam?
Quickly. He has to take a break quickly. So let's just marinate right here that he said, I have to take a break. Oh, I have to take a break. He was never surprised on when he had to take a break, especially with the well-oiled machine that has been running the way it has for this long, especially at this period of time when he's at a station in his life where everything operates seamlessly because he has put those people in his life to make it that way. So you're going to pretend to take a break, right? I got to take a break. Let me take a call real quick. If you're having King of All Blacks on, you know it's not going to be really quick, because it's always a point in an argument in a bit. This is so full of shit.
Right. And it's not, and it's not, no, he doesn't know exactly what Beth's going to do when he does eventually get in touch with her, but it is absolutely set up for her to come in, and for her, it's exactly like the Jingle Ball thing in that way, where he's got Robin on his side, he's got Gary on his side, but then Gary says something very similar. That's why it mirrors that fucking Jingle Ball call.
King of All Blacks on his side.
Yes.
Notably.
And then of course you've got Gary going, you're going to cause trouble. Like, I wouldn't, you're causing trouble. What he's really saying when Gary does say that is, you are making my life hell, because he's going to be bitching and moaning about this shit, King. Yeah. Go ahead. And then, so he can't say it to Howard, even though he knows he's responsible for it, but he'll say it to King of All Blacks. Yeah, Sam.
But even though he wants this hell, he's bringing this hell on. He's volunteering for this hell, and he's volunteering for this emotional ambush with Beth on the air live. He's volunteering this, right? But but he's going to, one, pretend that he didn't know that this is how it was going to go, and two, he's going to pretend to feign victim of something, something that he caused. Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, and we can talk about it at another time, I suppose, because it's going to take a long time to get through this. Cute cat, by the way, Bob. The thing, Bob was like Don Corleone, just stroking the cat.
Yeah, my cat all over me when I'm doing these.
That's all right. So basically, when you see the photo, it looks like something she wanted out there. Like, look at this hot guy I'm with, and it's a way you've seen that picture 1,000 times, Sam.
And she even says in this, she said,
he's a
the
really
problem
hot
is
guy.
he's an extremely hot guy.
Right.
So again, this is her pushing her will. Like, we have an arrangement.
Right.
Why are you doing this? Oh, it's because you think that this is putting a fracture and a rock in the window that's going to spider web if I'm in a picture with somebody else. I think this is all about control and submission, and control and submission on both sides.
So you think it's her way of fucking with him anyway?
I think she does it with her clothes. like how she used to dress slutty and now she dresses so chaste. I think it's how she does it with the cats.
Yeah.
I think this is all her passive aggressive way of dealing with it. And I think his passive aggressive way to this day is putting her even now on the air and adding that second mic, knowing she's miserable and having her discuss her miserable life.
Yep. So let's keep going.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I know what King Will Black's talking about. I don't know about this. What is the picture, Gary?
I think I
Did you hear that? Yeah, I know what he's talking about. I didn't see this. Which is it?
You're already in here, Gary. You weren't in here a minute ago, but I guess I'm gonna guess you have a full explanation. You can at least frame this.
Exactly.
saw a picture of Beth with somebody. I can't remember who the guy was, but she was just like, she was just being, he sees everything.
Yeah, I know. But I know what he means. Like sometimes, like when I see pictures of Beth, like, you know, people come up to her and take pictures with her.
And they try to get very close.
Yeah, and like she doesn't, like, I say to her, you should just push those guys away.
Okay, Sam?
Okay. So Robin said, oh, and they try to get very close. Really? Because you seem to impress people and your listeners with the fact that people jerk off far away from Beth because she's so hot on a subway. Or people are like throwing modeling cards and get in touch with her things. Like, I am so...
Directors have tried to casting couch her all the time, you know.
This is like a bad CNN roundtable discussion. I hate it.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Oh, I see. That's her co-host, isn't it? That guy? Who is that guy?
I don't know.
Jerry.
That's her co-host.
Why didn't you want to mention him, King?
So who is that guy? That's her guy. Who is that guy? I know that guy. I don't know that. Who's that guy? Right, exactly.
That's exactly who he is.
Yeah, that picture does offend me a little. Come to think of it. Yeah, now that I'm looking at it, I'm with you.
Now that I think of it.
Sitting home waiting for her to come in the door and just laugh at her.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Like when Beth poses with guys, like she's got to put her hands up on their shoulder.
Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
This is like when he had Marianne from Brooklyn call when Benji brought up the fact he was pissed that Howard and Don Buchwald screwed him out of writing credits for Howard Stern Comes Again.
Absolutely.
You want to have someone on deck to defend you. Benji, how dare you ruin his day?
Right, a paid shill.
This is disgusting. Propaganda. Propagandist bullshit. If anyone's that stupid to believe he didn't know exactly what he was doing, you should be on Beth's cat Instagram and commenting multiple times.
Right. You should also be on Reddit proclaiming it the best show ever. But one thing I should clarify, I said paid shill. I don't believe King of All Blacks or Marianne from Brooklyn or any of these fucking sycophants get paid for shit. They're more than happy. Bobo, all these people, they're more than happy just to touch the hem of the fruit that fucking the garment that the fruit is wearing, that they'll be on the air and they'll defend him to the fucking death because they're just nuts. Bob. Just
listen to how seamless the whole thing is, where he's going, oh yeah, who the fuck is that guy? I know who that guy is. Why is her hand up? It's like, imagine if you actually saw a picture of your girlfriend or whoever with a guy, you'd be like, who is that? Anybody know who that guy is? Like,
imagine a murder trial.
But he was just like so seamless. Who is that guy? I know who that guy is. Why is her hand up there? I know she always does that with it. It was like he didn't even break stride in that entire thing. Is you obviously know what you're doing right now. Like you're setting this entire thing up,
right?
And Gary knows what's going on. Everybody in there knows what's going on.
This is straight out of the Stern playbook. Straight out of one of the oldest plays. He's got 10 plays and they're all in there. Go ahead, Sam.
If he didn't know, say this was like real, this reminds me of the civil trial with the OJ when he's like, you don't own those shoes, the Bruno Mali shoes, those aren't your shoes. And then they just hold up a picture. Here's a picture of you giving sports commentary in the shoes. Those aren't your shoes? No, those aren't my shoes. You're wearing those shoes. Like, that's something that would, flabbergast you if you didn't know what the fuck was going on. Something that wouldn't.
You would
like
ask this. It could be anybody, like, you don't know. Like, if she's really in the entertainment or you know, like if it is her with somebody, it could be her cousin, it could be like.
Yeah,
like if you pull it, you talk about death metal shit, and you're like, "Do you know who this is?" And I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I wouldn't be like, "Oh yeah, I know."
And you were like, "Oh yeah, I know who that is, and I know the guy in it, and I'll tell you those guys hang out over here, and I'll tell you I've seen them do." It's like, okay, so you definitely know who I'm talking to. You know, like you've thought about this, like you have points that are derivatives of points that are derivatives of points.
Yeah.
Like he knows what's going on. This is a planted call without question.
There was definitely like a sit down in the war room to arrange this. It's
the
like
same one that went down for the Goo Goo Dolls dance party. They're like, listen, we have we have the blueprints here for how we got the Goo Goo Dolls to sing Iris.
Yeah, we're gonna gay shade them,
and songs and man sweat. Let's plan something.
It's more about Beth trying to look good in the picture than it is about him.
But, listen, I don't really have those feelings.
See, you wouldn't feel bad if that were me. You go, that's that ugly dude. I don't care.
Yeah, but it would be a little weird to me. Like, that's how you pose with your husband, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yes.
Well, it is a little intimate.
Yeah, it is, right? Yeah, why the fuck is she doing that?
At one point, he goes, "She wouldn't pose like that." And then King of All Black goes, "With you."
That might be the best line I've ever heard.
King of All Blacks gets he gets the FME.
But
Go
Bob,
ahead, Sam.
Bob, he said, "Yeah, why the fuck is she doing that? He already knows that she did that. This is clearly planted."
Completely.
So why is she doing that? That's like something you do with your husband. Now, what is a narcissist getting from this?
I think he's jealous of Beth that she's that close to the guy.
What is he getting out of this for this exposed humiliation that he has planned?
Because the reason why she took the photo, she's attracted to the guy.
Yeah.
That's why she did it. And he knows that she's attracted to the guy. And if she is starting to think, oh man, this guy's kind of good looking, maybe I could date him. Maybe I could marry him. You know, he has to start devaluing it. He has to humiliate her over it. Yeah. The only reason why she took that photo was because she's attracted to him. I've seen a picture of the guy. I can't recall it right off the top of my head. I remember he is a good-looking guy, and it's just sort of that simple. And he knows that, and he knows that she could, at least in that department, because he is a good-looking guy, it's not a money guy. If it was a money guy, if it was an agent or a lawyer or whatever, he would probably play up that angle, that he has more money or whatever. But he knows that it's that one vulnerability for him, that he's not a good-looking guy, and he knows that that guy is. So he has to start teeing off on that in order to prevent that from going further, and that involves humiliation and abuse, which we hear going forward.
Right.
You know what I'm dying to do right now? I'm dying to bring Rick up here and be like, okay, hey, look at this picture. What would you think if I were to be in a picture like this? I'm just dying to see what he would say.
Okay, so she's at an estuary, and instead of being next to a fucking pelican, she's cheek to cheek with the flamingo instead, and that's him getting upset. And
he's a handsome guy. I mean,
exactly. Like it looks like a guy. He looks like he actually looks human, as opposed to Wig, who looks like he's been fucking. You know, he looks like one of those pictures in a hair salon for old bats getting their blue rinse. And this is the picture of, you look at Angela Lansbury fucking photo from Murder, She Wrote. That's how my mom's a hairdresser. She said Angela Lansbury gave me such business over the years. I gotta thank her. I want to send her flowers or something.
Nobody's wondering if Jared has a gun to her back in that photo, you know, as opposed to numerous Howard photos.
Where it looks like there's a gun trained on her.
Yeah, like
Smile,
the spine
bitch.
is about to be shot out.
All right,
The
let's
only
keep going.
loving pictures I see are between him and Ralph.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, I was mad as hell.
You want to know something, man? You got a point.
Imagine that.
Yeah, and put some bass in your voice too. Don't let it talk you out of it. Like, oh, come on, don't give me that bullshit.
Nah, but I'm not the jealous type.
Yeah, but you got to be the jealous type in this situation.
Maybe I'll have you talk to her.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I didn't see that picture.
I didn't see it. Of course he fucking saw
No.
it. Jesus Christ almighty.
I heard about that. Didn't he say I heard about that?
Yeah, I heard about it. What is he talking about? All this. I heard this. Oh, which is it? You can't have it both ways, shit.
Maybe I'll hide behind you. Behind you.
Exactly.
What is this though? Like, I don't understand this. Is this an NPD thing or a Howard thing? Where, for example, we just saw my boyfriend come up. I said, "What would you do?" And I showed him the picture, and he said, "That doesn't look right." And I, call you out. What the fuck is this? Like, what is this? Why is Howard putting someone in front of him to call him out for something that clearly bothers him? If he's narcissistic, why wouldn't he be like, "You're fucking embarrassing me"?
Do you think that your boyfriend is a introvert or an extrovert?
Extrovert.
Okay. So that's the first major difference in personality from Howard. And secondly, I've seen your boyfriend talk a couple times. I don't get the impression that he has a personality disorder. So what they need to do is they need to manipulate the situation, and they can't take over the situation and be direct. So they have to find different ways to reinforce in a more direct and indirect, more direct way to say these things, which is exactly what's happening in this scenario where Howard is going, "King of all blacks, you say what I need, what I want to say, and then Robin, you say what I need to say, and then Gary, you say what I need to say." Like, he doesn't have the balls to do it because he's.
So is he that kid throwing a rock and running away before it hits whatever it hits?
Worse.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sam.
Well, then, in comparison, so then this takes me back to the Allison conversations where I thought because of the power and the clout he got from leaving the marriage and the family with the excess money, riches, fame, popularity, ratings, etc., when he left Allison, I thought that would make up for the fact of his insecurities and how he treated that conversation. But his NPD, to me, has gotten worse. Like, why wouldn't you own her, essentially? You own Beth. You own her life, her finances, you everything.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
That's what this is. This is a reaction.
She has to be taught a fucking lesson.
That's right.
But I'm surprised he didn't take it in a more direct way to teach her a lesson, but NPD, I guess, doesn't work that way.
No, because he also needs, he gets more, sorry to interrupt, guys. Go ahead. He gets more out of having Bowie and Robin and King of All Blacks pile on Beth, because not enough, he has to embarrass her. He has to fucking make her feel as shitty as possible. She's not going to feel as shitty if it's just him and her in Castle Gay Skull. It has to be a concerted effort every fucking time. You have to be. It's like a battle royal where they all beat up on one wrestler, right?
So Bob, does it get worse with NPD in the amount of, I guess I say, like, he was more forthcoming with Allison. He's passive aggressive as fuck. Yes. And manipulative. And he did this on air with the same cast of characters with Allison. But my question is, he's doing it again with Beth. Does it get worse or better over time?
It gets worse with time. It gets worse with time. And the thing about Allison was she had way more skin in the game than Beth does. Beth submitted. Beth agreed to be bought. And so when you hear the difference between these two calls, and there's a reason why I chose these two calls, is that when Allison called in, she's like, you're not fucking giving me shit. I'm not talking about this right now. Like, I know you're a fucking bitch. Everybody in there knows you're a bitch. Nobody's saying anything. We're done here. There's a big difference between that and about what we're about to hear, because that's setting up boundaries. Beth has agreed to have no boundaries.
Do you think the way the cast of characters back then knew what was going on with him and Allison, and I know they knew, at least not all of it, but most of it, do you think that they're not responding in the same regard because they don't know the full... Do you think he's hiding some of their relationship?
Everybody
better.
knows.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows what this is. Everybody knows this is a bot relationship.
Okay.
Nobody doesn't know that. Artie knew that. Gary knows that. Robin.
Sal knew it.
Sal knows it.
The callers knew it.
Separating between you and that line was so funny. Between John Stamos's cock and your wife's mouth was your wallet. That's so fucking hilarious, but it's so true.
Yeah,
What was the clip that just was posted on our Facebook page, Fillmore, by a wonderful fan of ours?
It was during the get John's job and win John's job, Stuttering John, and Sal comes in to interview Beth, and I don't remember the line, but it was like one of those gifs.
Do you think Joey Ramone is attractive?
Yeah, do you think Joey Ramone is attractive? She goes, yes.
She paused. She paused. And she
That's
goes,
right, because...
yes. And
then she goes, I knew he was setting me up.
Do you think an ostrich in a wig is attractive?
That was when Sal was willing to actually, well, he got a lot of stuff from Stern Fan Network anyway. Let's continue.
He's one of my
Bob,
characters, by the way.
Him and Richard, your name, Sal.
My favorite. Him and Richard are just my favorite characters on that show. But side note.
Yeah, well, they were the last bit of sort of, I guess, realness. Sal was a complete kiss ass and a bullshit artist and a pussy, but they did come up with funny stuff. I'll admit that.
I'm gonna do a good-looking woman comes here. I'm gonna do a picture with me with like my hand on her tits,
up her dress.
Yeah, just have my hand up her dress.
Feeling her up?
Yeah, why not? Why not just take liberty?
You're gonna let this idiot wreck your fucking marriage?
No, it's fine.
Why am I editing, Gary? Why am I editing?
Because you're creating trouble where there shouldn't be any.
But what do you think of that picture? Sure.
It's a little intimate. It's actually not the picture I'd seen. I'd seen a different one.
Yeah, it is. It is weird to me.
Yeah, but he called me.
Okay.
No.
One sec. I wanted to play it out as much as because otherwise we're going to be here another 3 hours. Go ahead.
Okay, so you're feigning trouble to King of All Blacks. You're saying, why are you doing this? You're creating trouble. But then he immediately succumbs and says, it is a little intimate. Now, to me, that's completely the antithesis of the point you were just making previously. I don't understand why. So to me, how staged is this?
What about Howard saying, what if I just stick my hand up another person's shirt? Like, just threaten, like, we haven't
How
gotten
disrespectful is that?
Sorry?
How disrespectful is that? Like, Bob, could you imagine telling your girlfriend, like, I saw a picture of you. How would you look like? How would you like it? And you're talking to somebody else on the air.
I just hated her.
I know. It's
just wanted to destroy her, and I was like, why don't I just go in someone else's shirt? Like, I want to hear her side of the story, but
keep in mind, we will get to it for sure. Keep in mind, guys, this is 5 years after the Ablo thing. So they're married now. They're well and truly. The bloom is well off the fucking I don't know, cactus, and they clearly we believe they live apart. We know they live apart at some point, not now in the COVID stage, whatever. But she has a separate residence for herself in the city, and then now they're stuck together. You know they fucking hate each other. She hates the fact that she's bought and paid for. He hates the fact what she is. He has no respect for her, but he doesn't have respect for anybody. So I don't know that it's less than anybody else. I think it's just she's a possession. She's a lampshade.
Yeah.
She's an ashtray. There's no difference.
Pet.
Yeah, pet, exactly.
I think it's
Sam?
hilarious that Billy Joel was at and sang at their wedding impromptu. And seriously, it's Tina and Tony's wedding is more believable than that fucking sham wedding.
I have to watch that.
Oh, you're not an idiot. Gary's an idiot.
I know.
Why are you calling him an idiot? He's right.
Because he's creating trouble.
But so what?
The damn created trouble, not me.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
I can't, Gary.
Oh, I'm sorry, King.
You got something against me for some fucking reason.
I have nothing against you. I think it's funny how you sit and stare at everything Howard all day long.
I stick. What the fuck is you talking about, Gary?
Yeah, like Beth.
Now this is also just banter to kill time while they're waiting to get Beth on the air. Their plan is to get her the whole way and get her in and treat her like shit. But and Bowie, if he was honest, he probably does really also think, let's not fucking do this. And I'm angry at Howard for making this shit happen and forcing me into this thing where I have to admit that's wrong. I'd rather not be involved at all. I think that's what Bowie's thinking about.
I think.
And now that we know more about Bowie's life, he's not one to fucking want any eyes on his personal life either.
Right, exactly.
Beth wouldn't do a picture like that with a limo driver.
No, she wouldn't do it with him. But no, one woman.
Can we replay that? Can we go back?
That's always a problem because I got to restart the thing. Hold on.
Some fucking.
Yeah, I have nothing against you. I think it's funny how you sit and stare at everything Howard all day long.
I stick. What the fuck is you talking about, Gary?
Yeah, like Beth wouldn't do a picture like that with like Ronnie, the limo driver.
You heard him started there. What's the first piece of shit I can think of? A limo driver. We can all fucking relate to that because we all shit on our limo drivers, right?
Exactly. This is as close as he's having to Big Daddy Kane coming on.
He said, like you, we do this, Fillmore, all the time where we talk back and forth and have this podcast. When I say shit that flies out of my mouth, do you think I think about it for 2 seconds, or do you think it's just right there at the surface, ready to just explode?
Exactly. And the romance with no finance is a damn new thing.
No. She wouldn't do it with him, but no.
Benji laughed. That's how you know it was hilarious.
Exactly. There's exactly. So we should go do a fucking show on the sotto voce laughs that you barely hear. There's Benji does it, Fred does it, and Robin will do it occasionally. When there's a laugh that comes out and it's not, it's barely heard, but you can hear it. You know that person was like, thank God you said that. Yeah. Thank God you said that.
And Benji, if you're listening, despite all your faults, I fucking commend you for even sticking it to him to this day. Just keep doing it.
Yeah,
you get a job where you barely have to do anything but put up with this pussy. We get it.
Yeah.
But I'm just
hey, why don't I get Beth on the phone? How do I do that?
I got a number for her.
You got a number? Call her, man. Let King stay on here too. Maybe.
What's her number? How do I get her? You just dial the red telephone and she picks up. Oh shit.
What's her number?
So he can help you with this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, like, why tweet that picture? It's like it is intimate.
Why take that picture? If she's hiding it, you have a worse problem.
Yeah,
oh my God, I'm having a flashback. This is just like Robin for Allison when she said, "I wouldn't even ask for the tickets. I would know that this is my competition. I would know.
That's why
this is my competition."
That's exactly why I chose this call. This is the exact yin and yang to that call with Allison. And now we preface this whole thing. He's built up his entire trial. He's built up everything. Now he's going to call her. And we'll see how she addresses him.
I know Steve Kingston is my competition. I would never do this.
But, it's kind of more... it's yin and yin, except for the reaction, except for the Allison's going away from a position of strength.
Exactly.
Beth's retreating into the turtle shell.
Exactly.
I'm not talking about Allison and Beth as people. I'm saying Robin's reaction.
No, yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
These are the exact same
they're
scenarios.
They're parallel, but the end result is very different. And actually, with this one, he comes off even worse because she does retreat away, and then they start piling on. He goes, "Oh God, we can't get her on the phone again. Now I'm in shit," whatever kind of thing. Allison does call back. Beth never does, as far to the best of my knowledge.
Maybe
He tweeted.
Oh, he tweeted it?
And that's the thing. That's the thing. He did tweet it. It wasn't Beth that put it out, as far as I know. He put it on his Instagram or his Twitter or whatever, and that's how it did come out.
Who tweeted it?
God did.
What did he say?
John tweeted the picture, not Beth. She wasn't.
Benji laughed.
Tweeted it?
I think the guy tweeted it.
Yes, he did. I examined it very carefully.
No, who tweeted it? Who's the account?
King of All Blacks is Quincy. Go ahead.
See, I genuinely think that he thought Beth tweeted it. I think that when he said he tweeted it, he goes, "Who tweeted it?" Like that. I think that surprised him.
He's angry. He's very upset.
That pissed him off. And when he goes, "Who tweeted it?" Benji immediately laughed because Benji's on Twitter and knew that he tweeted it. So.
The fucking guy tweeted it.
What guy? Why can't I understand? Wait, stop for a minute.
It's something about his phone. Every time he says that guy's name.
I got an iPhone. I just got an iPhone.
Yeah, well, you know what? What do you got, AT&T?
No, I have Sprint.
You should have Verizon.
Yeah, I know. I should have.
What happened? Did somebody fall?
I know. Benji's knocking shit over. We haven't paid attention to
Benji's so happy.
Yeah, and Benji tries to salvage something here.
The spotlight on me.
What do you think of that picture?
Well, I can understand. It's tough, but I have one, possible explanation. The guy's holding his arm out, and he probably is like he's taking the picture himself. It looks like
Right, with his phone.
She had to lean in to be in the picture.
Please, it's that important for her to get in the picture?
It's hard to say.
He's already got his mind made up. He's already got his mind made up. This whole thing was made up before it started.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, let's keep going.
He probably, in a situation like that, it would probably...
Nah, you got a point there, King. I got to say, usually I don't agree with you.
But why is that? You always agree with me, but you don't want to admit it. But why is her arm on the... Why does she have to put her arm on his waist? That has nothing to do with the picture.
And her arm is... one hand is on the guy's chest. Like, right in there. And the other hand is around her, obviously, and she's tied in, and she's cheek to cheek, absolutely. When I saw that the first time, I go, "Holy fucking shit! Now we're gonna have some fun. This is gonna be so good."
I remember seeing that on Reddit and thinking to myself, "Oh, they're not married for real."
No, exactly.
Well, how do you know her arm is on his waist?
I saw it. I examined it. I blew it up.
He's right. It is.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. He's getting me
now
going.
He's going too far.
Yeah.
You can't see any arm on waist.
Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Now, Bob, I'm sitting here and thinking in this argument, and it's hard for me to switch, but it's easier for you for this like NPD brain. So when I'm sitting here, I'm retaining this. I'm like, oh, this is how I would feel, or this is how he would feel in a normal person argument.
Right.
But how is he feeling? What is he more mad about? Is he more mad about the fact that she took a picture with a guy, or is he more mad about the fact it's out? Or is he more mad that she didn't tell him that this was going to be out? What's the most bothersome thing?
Well, I don't first off think that you can relate to the NPD brain, because I think if you were to see something like this, it would immediately be removed from off air, and you would contact the person privately. But I think for him, what's most upsetting here is a slight on himself, in that he's perceiving this in that she took this photo and it was a slight to him, that he's more attractive than him, that this is her gaining a step on him. It's not so much that
Is he mad about that she's attracted to him, or the fact that
No,
people are going to
that's-
see it?
Yeah, no,
Well,
I
that's-
think it's
that's-
all the above.
Yeah.
I
was curious
think
about
he
that
knows-
myself.
He has to know that she's attracted to him. Like they're as much as they live in the false self, they're aware of the actual world around them. They're just constantly trying to deny it. And once they see these things that actually solidify what they know about the world, it's usually pretty overwhelming for them, and they don't like it.
Sam?
Okay, but he subconsciously has always known that she's a bought and paid for employee, essentially. So to me, think, since what we've learned from NPD, he wouldn't be upset about the fact she's attracted to somebody else, but by the fact that she's allowing herself to be exposing their relationship, that she's taking pictures like this with someone.
Why do you think he wouldn't be upset about her being attracted to someone else?
Because I think he's gay. But see, that's the thing that's the part where we have to. That's the only problem with this conversation, is I think he's hiding he's gay.
Okay, well, let's assume he isn't gay.
Damn it.
Wow, hold on. Let me get my my fantasy boots on, and I'll assume he's not gay. Go ahead, Bob.
Suit up.
Yep. Let me not rescue Bianca from the pool and remain in my bullshit boots. Go ahead.
Fillmore, hold on. I got to take out Orlando Bloom's perfect cock.
Out of your mouth. Yeah. Go ahead, Bob, please.
No, I'm just telling you. You're asking why would he be upset about her being attracted to another guy? I mean,
9 inches is perfect.
Why would he?
Well, because that's attention not being given to him, and in a similar way. Like there's no the only pictures you see of him and her, it does look like Tiny Tim. With, like
it's like a fucking half an eyeball and some nonsense hair.
Right.
It's like a
crane.
fucking.
Like no, let's keep going.
There in 2 seconds. Okay?
Thank you.
God, Howard, don't let Robin talk you out of it.
Now, hold on a second. She ain't talking me out of anything. No, you're making a good point. Like that's how she poses with me, and not even.
It's not a special pose then.
Fucking bullshit.
My wife works at the
Not even.
Shit
Yeah.
about
who's
with some
fucking mad?
crazy.
Yeah. So with again, it's a couple. It's a number of things. It really is like a multifaceted level of annoyance, because the guy's good looking. He looks like a human being. She's tucked into him. Like, I mean, she gets any closer, she's gonna give him a hand job, and it's on social media, so he's looking cucked. Yep. And it's just like the nacho thing, which, guys, I do have the clip elsewhere, but I'm going to have to play it another time. Sam?
But this is where you and I and Bob diverge, because I think he's mad about, why didn't you Doris Day it up enough? Like, I truly think it's like,
he's really mad because he wanted to be that close to him.
You're blowing this cover for me.
Yeah,
like,
that's a fourth level. That's a fourth layer as well. A fourth level of piss off.
Yeah, she never poses like this with me, but she's posing this like with him. Everyone's gonna know I
suck dick.
This parking lot attendant that I scrapped up with his fucking monstrous, meth mouth. This pretend parking lot stylist.
We made him a stylist.
My lover. Like, that's truly what I think. But I can't believe anyone doesn't think that. I honestly can't.
Obviously, we don't know
what
anything.
What is he getting paid for?
Well, for a half-hour a week, Howard said one time, "You can suck my dick." It comes in for a half-hour a week. Suck my dick. Forget your bonus this year, Ralph. I wish I could play that clip. Go ahead.
He said this week, if Beth died, I'd be with Ralph.
Okay, well, guys, I guess we know that.
Last week.
Welcome to the Howard Stern Show, now soon to be on OutQ.
Go down there and make you quit that fucking job.
You're a real man.
Fuck that shit. She not better than me. I'm better than her.
Okay.
After a while, they think they're better than you. Fuck that shit.
By the way, who sounds better on the phone, Dominic or King of All Blacks?
It really does sound
The two of them are calling
like
from
you're
Atlantis.
calling from a trunk of a car, passing over in a fucking farm road over gravel.
Job is to tell you you're not better than me.
Yeah, and by the way, to my co-workers, please don't retweet that picture.
No, don't do
Are
that.
they retweeting it?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
No.
Yeah.
He's on line 21.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing until you want me to. I'm your pit bull. I'm your pit bull.
Thank you.
You've reached Grifter. You've reached the Grifter hotline. Beth speaking.
I'm your pit bull.
Yeah.
Baby.
Hi, love.
Hi. You know, King of All Blacks just called up and showed me a picture you posed for with your co-host on your TV show, and it's kind of intimate. I mean, he's making a good point. Like, I just saw it for the first time. And like your faces are touching, your hands are all over him. It's like,
Oh yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Do we have the call where she accidentally didn't know she was on the air and she was like, this better be good? What?
I don't have that, but I'm sure I could find it. But yeah, she was annoyed, and
So
she
this
was on.
whole-
She went off the air. She was talking to her sister-in-law, I think it was,
I'm so
and said,
mad at him.
"I'm so mad at him." Yeah, I remember that one.
So I want you guys to know that this whole hi love, when she was accidentally on the air and didn't realize, she answered the phone. She goes, "What? This better be good."
Yeah,
And then goes,
exactly.
hi.
Yeah, like a lamb.
kind of weird.
Oh, I know which picture you're talking about. You know
Yeah,
when you
it's
take
sort
a
of
picture...
bumming me out in a way. I mean, what
Are
is
you
that?
serious?
Yeah, I think
And
I am.
You know when you take a picture of yourself together
Yeah.
with the camera?
Yeah.
It's probably the one I'm thinking of where you see an arm up in the air. I think that's like the 10th one because we were out of the picture.
You know what, though? You wouldn't take that picture with, like, Ronnie, the limo driver, or
Yes, I
Gary.
would.
Or me. Go ahead, Sam.
Okay, so you needed 10 pictures. Do you know how long that must have took standing there in that intimate pose? Okay, Bob, I think that's almost a shot. Like that took like 10 times, unless she's that stupid, 10 times to take a picture that looked good means you care about, one, how it looks.
Yeah.
Two, you enjoy being close to somebody that much that you're willing to stand there 10 times to get it right.
Absolutely.
Two is my selection.
He's picked door number 2.
Yeah, or number 2.
What?
I think
Weird.
Relationship with Jared that you're going to make it weird.
Well, I didn't do anything. I mean, this guy called up and he just showed me a picture. He just showed it to me.
Stop it. Stop it.
No, don't let her do that.
Now the two of them are doing buoy speak. You're getting kind of weird. I'm bummed out. It's weird. It's kind of weird. And then now we got King of All Blacks has got full reign. King of All Blacks is now elevated higher than Beth in this call because he's on his side. Yes, Sam.
I don't understand the speak of when you're upset with somebody for a specific thing and you're saying, yeah, well, this person brought up, it's kind of like bumming me out. Like if I was upset about a picture or something, I'd be like, hey, guess what? I saw this fucking picture. What the fuck is this? You want to explain this to me? Can you explain to me why this is happening?
You don't have the same personality.
Yeah.
You don't have the same personality disorder. You don't even have the same personality archetype. You're an extrovert. So they don't
How
act
can you
like...
tell?
I'll write you a list.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's not bullshit.
Really?
Right?
That's what you're...
I don't know. It looks a little. Even Robin says it looks a little intimate.
Oh, even Robin.
Me out too. I guess.
Yeah, let's throw Robin in under the bus as well. Beth, you're not. And this is the other parallel. When Allison called in, she was both sides of the fence. When Allison was on the air, she was like, "Oh well, Howard, you're doing this," and when she was off the air, I would know not to go to the dinner.
I don't
whatever.
agree with that. She took Howard's side and
go to the
she goes,
dinner.
I would never go to that. And Allison goes, but of course, Robin, but of course she wouldn't go to the, because she knows you're gonna take Howard's side every time because that's why you're there.
But what I'm saying,
if
hold
anybody
on.
wants to go back and listen, though, she just says it. But of course,
she does. But she also said you're being very passive aggressive. She went after him as well. So it wasn't as if he got off scot-free. She was giving jabs at both of them, but it was mostly on his side, obviously. Whereas if she really did feel, like, Howard, you're being a shit, she wouldn't have said, "Oh, I would never go to the Jingle Ball." She'd say, "Well, what the fuck do you care, you fucking Pelican? Let your wife go to a fucking concert once in a while, enjoy herself, instead of being cooped up with this friggin' homo hangout you have with Ralph." Go ahead. Sorry, Sam, I had to get a little rant in.
Would Robin, if she didn't know that her wagon was hitched up financially to Howard permanently, let's say that she thought she had a shot of success at her own accord, would she be doing what she's doing with Beth regardless?
No. I don't think so. I think that Robin wouldn't be playing any games at fucking all with anybody. If she could do what she wanted to do, if
she was untethered, yeah,
exactly. I don't think that Robin respects Beth, if that's what you're asking. I just think that if Robin wasn't tethered to these contracts, to this whole thing, and you just let her go, she'd be like, "Yeah, you're a fucking prick right now. Like, you're a fucking douchebag. I don't have any."
So hold on. So let's do a little fantasy blob and ball. Now, if last couple weeks or last month of her life, when the cancer's taken over and she's like, she's eating fucking Oxy smoothies or fucking Nebutol goddamn sandwiches, and because any morphine, she's chugging morphine by the fucking barrel full. What do you think she lets him have it? Do you think she in her last days she's like, fuck you, you fucking Pelican, I hate you, I hate everything about you.
Without
you
question.
Think so?
Yep, no doubt.
Sam?
I don't know. I'm so always pretty certain in my opinions, and I don't know because I don't know how many people she has left in her life.
Yeah, but
so
if you're on your way, you're on your way out. What do you care? Like
one thing I'll tell both of you guys.
Okay.
Narcissists deeply hate being controlled. They hate working because they perceive work as a source of them being controlled. So somebody that has the level of narcissism that Robin has, that has been demonstrated through an inventory, and the amount of control Howard has over her, there is no possible way that she walks away from that and does not have ill feelings towards him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I go with Bob.
I think that there's ill feelings, but I also think that there's such an immense amount of time, and I think she has alienated so many circles and groups of people in her life, and I truly think she's alone.
You think that's the one lifeline? That's the one lifeline she keeps to her grave?
I don't know. That's undeserved. I could go either way with that one. But
all right, let's table it for another time.
But I'm saying some women gotta prove to you that you're not the center of the universe. Fuck that shit. Yes, I am.
Yeah, like Beth would be upset if I posed with a woman like that.
Yeah.
I think she'd be surprised.
Honey,
what the fuck? You'd be upset. You shaved a pussy and almost vomited.
I forgot about that. You're referencing we're going 20 years earlier when he was doing.
Not even it was on the E show. Like, give me a fucking break. Would she be upset? I'm upset. He fucking gave breast exams and painted them green. Shut the fuck up.
He had women on Sybians and he was going.
I think she'd be upset if we posed like prom in high school.
He had women on the Sybian. They were coming. You go, did she come? Did it happen?
Yeah, I did. I came a lot when my fucking pussy was vibrated by a fucking phone. Give me a break.
Robin, what do you think?
What do I think of what?
The picture.
Well, no. I think it's a little bit sort of, I don't know. It's you're cheek to cheek.
Yeah, it's kind of intimate.
What's that for?
I'm her husband.
Like, what going? He might get off on that.
Cheek to cheek.
You know, I don't. My wife gives a shit about that, but I know the guys get off on her doing
Exactly.
So now it's the guy. It's the guy's fault, right? It's not just Beth's. It's his fault
And
as
it's
well.
my wife. And it's
Robin.
my wife.
And
Well,
Robin's
now
fault.
we've
She's
gone
talking about
into
it.
perception of others. We've gone into how do they view me. And then now this is where they're really going to get upset because he's thinking that this guy's viewing me as someone that he can steal on right now.
Right.
And what's up with the terminology and the semantics of he was saying Beth, and all of a sudden it's my wife. My wife. Like, is that something?
I think it adds a little bit of drama and a little bit of victimhood to it.
You know, hon?
Yeah, I hear you. I understand. And now that I think about it, I totally could see where you see that. Jared's in a relationship. I'm married.
No, I know that.
Nothing like that at all.
But
He's like my little brother. He's a very good friend of mine. We spend 12 to 15 hours a day working on the show together.
Okay, go ahead, Sam.
Bob, when she is kind of saying, "Oh, I can see where you think that," is she realizing I better make this better like right away because she knows it's going to come hailing down on her?
Yeah, you can hear like, oh shit,
Totally.
I fucked up.
Yeah.
It's such a stark difference from the Allison call where she goes, Howard, we're not talking about this shit. You've had enough time to talk to me about it. I'm not doing this. You can hear the difference, the boundaries, all the differences here. And she's panicked right now for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, eventually she gets upset when he brought her on for the name game. And she was like, I'm not doing this. And then he's like, made her do it. And she fucked up and he made fun of her. And she's like, and she hung up on him.
Well, that was, yeah, that would have been what, like, I don't know, 5-6 years into the future. And imagine all that extra time being with this fucking asshole. And yeah, okay, by your own, it's your own choice, your own volition. You're the one that wants to be like a star fucker and you're posing in all these Jimmy Choo shoes in your closet and kittens dancing around. And this is the life you've taken. I don't have any sympathy for her, but I can imagine it must be frustrating as shit to have to deal with him for 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like she might have her own setup and all this stuff. Oh God, I can't even imagine it.
I'm so excited about working with him. He's great. Everything's great, but I totally understand where you're coming from, and I will be definitely more sensitive to that in the future, and I will never tweet a picture like that again.
King, are we okay with that?
I tweeted it.
No, he did. He tweeted it.
That's the problem.
There's please don't create something between us on the show. There's nothing. It's not like that.
I think, Bob, this is when you originally suggested we play this, which was a long time ago, actually. You said something along the lines it just made me laugh the way you wrote it. Imagine, he said, I would never bring my girlfriend or wife, as the case may be, on to be berated by like some asshole and just let her get railed by some complete, really a stranger, a guy that the show, people who love the show know, but he's not any friend of Beth's. So why would you put her in this situation unless you had no respect for her?
Yeah. And she sounds like a little kid that's just been reprimanded. Like, I'm sorry I did this. I won't do this again. Like, she sounds like a little girl. And there's just some fucking prick just like going in on. I would never let anyone talk to my girlfriend that way. And you like look at it, you're like, he's not only allowing this, he set the whole thing up and he's got her on trial. His move that he likes to continuously do.
Sam?
Imagine having a fight in your kitchen and all of a sudden your neighbor just like jumps through the screen door and starts screaming and berating you. And you're like, yeah, see, he gets it. Let him talk.
It's a 2-on-1 tag
and
team.
you can hear that, like, even the way that he's talking to her, he has no respect. She's like, oh, I'm sorry I did that. And he's going, blah, 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 blah. Like, just talking over her. Like, it's abuse.
And you're right. She is like a little girl being reprimanded by daddy and, whoever the fuck this guy is.
Yeah, Daddy Wig Bucks.
And you know what sucks? You know what sucks for him is that he's an incredibly hot guy, and that's what I think is going on here.
Yeah, that sucks for him.
He's not that good looking. Listen, let me tell you something. Him being in a relationship and you being in a relationship is perfect for him. That's perfect for him. That's not why nothing happened.
Does anybody want to discuss that? She just blurted it out.
One of the best moments ever.
I really think she's that stupid that she doesn't even realize how it comes across. But I do have to say, King of All Blacks seriously sounds like he swallowed a bag of marbles when he talks.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
He's always in the middle of filming a blaxploitation film, and it sounds like every stereotypical Sweetback's badass song, or like he's like a Melvin Van Peebles like production. And I think it's an affectation. I think if you talk to the King of All Blacks when he's talking to his union co-workers, whatever, he's like, well, yes, I believe that actually we should strike. So. This idea that this is the way she thought she was going to fix by saying, I think his problem is he's an incredibly hot guy.
Yeah, you both don't know what this is like, but hot people have problems. So
she legitimately thought that was a way out. Like,
oh, you could totally tell. She's like,
right.
Guys, he's hot.
If you knew the shit Jared has to deal with getting fucking hit on all the time, and just like having the world at his fingertips. Anyway,
guys, he can't eat carbs. He has to maintain those abs. It's a tough life.
That's right. Mountain climbing and shit.
That's not why that picture's inappropriate. It's because if he wasn't in a relationship, that's the ticket. I'm in a relationship. I'm married, and my wife is married, but that don't mean that I can't sneak out once in a while. It's very disrespectful. And if you don't stop to it now, it'll continue and continue and continue.
Yeah, Sam.
And he's contemplating this. He's like, yes, carry on. Even though my girlfriend's right here on the phone, I'm going to let you speculate that she's fucking another guy on air to me with her right here.
Right.
I'd be like, you know what? You guys carry on the conversation and don't fucking come home. Bye. Yeah,
that's right.
Thanks for letting this fucking stranger dude completely assassinate my character. Like, the
on
fuck
the air.
Out of here. What is wrong with you? And he's sitting there entertaining it.
And it's content, exactly.
And then you'll be the bad guy for bringing it up. Like Gary calls me an idiot. I brought it to your attention.
It's true. You at some point you do have to say something.
If it bothers you.
Well, it did, and it started working on me. I saw the picture and I was like, oh, okay. And then but maybe King's making some points.
And I saw your tweet when you was talking about your dog by your computer. I thought it was nice. I was like, where the fuck is she at?
Don't you love how Howard's making it sound like, I really didn't give it a whole lot of thought until King made it a point, and then meanwhile there was a blueprint that looked like, I don't know, the fucking Manhattan Project before they started in on this, and you just imagine them in a war room all staring at, okay, this is the time when we call Beth and attack her en masse.
Listen, the investigation that took down the mob, Giuliani had it less planned than this.
The RICO law. Go ahead.
That King of All Blacks sounds like a fucking third tier, like Tracy Morgan kind of affect going on. I notice.
Yo, Howard, we in show business.
But could you imagine? Like, I would just be sitting there and I'd be thinking, the fact that Howard is entertaining what he's saying.
Yeah.
On air is just insanely disrespectful.
Well, now not only that, so now as far as I know, Beth is off the air. She hung up at this point, didn't she? And then because it's all of a sudden they keep talking as though she's not there, and then suddenly when they talk to her, she's gone. So I think she's already hung up at this point.
Of course she's gone. You're letting some random fucking guy just berate her in front of millions of people.
Absolutely.
I'd be like, Excuse me. Oh, what is your name? King of All Blacks? Yeah. I'm sorry. I had a hard time understanding you. Can you please shut the fuck up?
Shut the
Thanks.
fuck up. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Let me talk to my. Let me.
Your mouth.
Exactly, and let me talk to my fruity husband. So, I mean, I would have loved if she just turned around and just started explaining the whole contract of the beard and drew it out and said, well, "Look, it says here I'm allowed to fuck any side piece I want while you're, cornholing Ralph and fucking Stalag Wig." And so, I just don't understand why. Because you hear it at the end of it, all of a sudden it's like, King, this is your fault. You started all this all. And then after we've been doing all these NPD things, Bob, it makes way more sense. It's all of a sudden, I've used you for all you're worth, King, and now you're the asshole.
Yeah, I can't accept responsibility. They don't accept responsibility for anything. Ever.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Fucking taking pictures with this idiot. And I'm sitting there with my dog, and she's old, and I know just what you meant when you tweeted that. It was unbelievable. I saw it, and I said, "Wow, that's deep," because I feel like I got those type of feelings too.
Yeah, I didn't know Beth was taking pictures with dudes.
See, now I'm getting mad.
Why are you getting mad?
And I'll tell you why.
Why are you mad?
And I'll tell you why I called King an idiot, because you trust Beth, right? You guys have a phenomenal relationship. So
I love her.
So now you're going to let a guy, an outside guy who doesn't really know your relationship, and you're going to let him.
Where is Beth? Hello?
Okay, there she goes. She's gone. Yeah, because they acted like she wasn't there for about a half a minute. Go ahead, Sam.
So this is interesting because Gary's saying, see, this is why I'm mad. You're going to take a guy who doesn't, you trust Beth, right? Right. So you're going to take a guy and now look at what he's doing. He's ruining this. Well, if you really trusted Beth, some fucking moron who's calling into your show wouldn't obliterate that trust and make you even think that she's doing something wrong. You let him berate her on top of it. So clearly you don't trust Beth. The first answer is a lie. When Gary says, do you trust Beth? Yeah. No, you don't, because you're believing this schmo. You're letting him talk you into this because you innately already think that. You already think she's cheating.
One of the long-term old talking points was what he keeps talking about how he uses condoms with Beth. And I think for the longest time, that's all just horseshit. Well, you have to fuck her first to be able to use the condoms, which I don't think ever happens and happened. So the whole idea of trust is such a slippery slope. I mean, really, all she has to do, according to the way we feel, is abide by the rules of the letter of the contract, and that's she's got to appear with him certain things. She's got to. I mean, we don't know, guys. We're maybe talking out of our asses. Maybe they love each other and we're stupid. We're the idiots. But this whole fabricated, because you guys will remember in part one, he starts off going, "Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay. Oh, what was that?" Well, you know what it is or you don't know what it is. You can't have it both ways. So now all of a sudden, at the end of this clip, as we go into it further, we all know Gary's pissed off because his life is fucking miserable when the boss's life is miserable. And what was it, the other clip miserable. Where... Well, it was the Allison clip. Actually, that's why it's such a good parallel, where Robin goes, I know it would make him upset. I don't want to make him upset. So that's why we got to make sure King Baby is happy with his fucking baby food. Go ahead, Bob.
That's what I get from this. Like, I think Gary does have a heart, but on top of that, I think that he's like, dude, you give so many people so much shit, and it's such a fine line that now you're entertaining complete strangers or adding to this, even though when no one's done anything wrong. Like, come on, man. Like, let's cool back. Like, now you're allowing, like, you're pulling from an even bigger pool now. Yeah. Like, let's not even get into that. And and they will, because he knows the cycles with Howard. He knows the abusive cycles. So I think that's kind of what he's saying here.
Sam?
Hypothetically, do you think he may have brought this to the attention, or the staff maybe knew about the picture beforehand? Because like we said, this sounds totally planned, the call with King. Maybe he couldn't get the staff members to bite because they were just like, oh no, we are not entertaining this because it'll just go down a hole that we're going to end up the ones fucked. So
yeah, you realize patterns with people with NPD, and you realize certain scenarios that they put themselves in, that they put others in, and no one even really likes to, like a normal person with empathy doesn't like to see someone be abused. And I think that in this case, maybe with the case, maybe the staff knew about it. I really don't know. I agree that it was pre-planned, because I've stated on here several times that he'll build a case, and a lot of people with NPD do that before they put people on a trial they didn't even know they were going on.
Yeah.
But I think Gary has clearly seen this cycle. I think a lot of people have seen a cycle, and sometimes when you see those cycles with people who abuse, even in certain cases where the enabler isn't at the end of that, they'll still try to not entertain it and feed into it. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this you know it, like, say somebody who's very socially media active, or was at the time, Benji, knew all about it. You knew Gary probably saw it. You knew the back office guys probably, saw it and stuff. But who does he usually get for these things? Well, Marianne from Brooklyn, Bobo, King of All Blacks, and that's about it. Like, those became his sort of telephone flying monkeys for when the staff is too close, or when they, in this situation, it makes perfect sense for Gary not to be the one to come in and say, hey, boss, I saw this picture of Beth, because all of a sudden you can't use Gary anymore as any kind of intermediary, because Beth is like, oh, fuck you. You're another enemy.
Yeah, Gary's going to see her at some point, and that's unpleasant,
Yeah. So if you give it to some schmuck, some underling, well, then it's not so good. But then if you give it to the tertiary, like, flying monkeys, then it's fine. It's acceptable.
Yeah.
Because it's not like Beth and King of All Blacks are going to interact. So let's keep going.
Oh,
yeah, I was going to say, she's not there. She's not saying anything.
You let him create trouble where the trouble didn't exist.
Yeah, you created trouble.
But they don't have a problem. You don't know their relationship. You're just an outsider looking at a picture, and now you're creating trouble. I can't understand a word you're fucking saying. I swear to God.
I can't either.
I hear you yelling, but I don't understand you. So I'll shut up and you talk slow.
I'll calm down. But
now this is the thing. He did have a problem before he came on the air, and that's the whole reason for this thing. However, in this situation, you've got King of All Blacks as the pit bull, and he calls himself a pit bull. So it's not like this is some kind of. This is why I hated the show when it started getting like this, because it was so. You could tell it was calculated, even if you didn't study NPD. You could tell that this was a setup, like a fucking ambush, like Sonny at the fucking toll booth.
Well, he even said to King, I'm going to keep you on. I might need you as backup. Like, he wanted him to be the pit bull. He previously just stated that is King's entire purpose, is to give Howard some sort of backbone, because he's such a spineless fucking jellyfish.
Absolutely.
And give him plausible deniability. I didn't say it. He said it. Right. The guy whose call I screened and gave him lines and gave the whole scenario, he said it.
I mean, I've never seen someone talk out of both sides of their mouth at such a rapid pace. I mean, it's within a sentence. He's constantly He's already throwing him under the bus. You're starting problems. I can't hear what you're saying on the phone. So he's already starting this. I couldn't hear what you said. He's already protecting himself. I don't know what you said.
Amazing analysis.
Listen to me. I have an iPhone S in white.
But I trust my wife.
Right.
That's not the issue.
What is the issue?
Trust anybody, Howard. You shouldn't trust Gary. You shouldn't trust your wife.
But I do trust her.
You want to live your life like that?
No.
Then why would you let him tell you to?
The point is that somebody else, and not necessarily this overreaction.
Right.
But somebody else seeing that picture might have the impression that, wow, she's really affectionate with Guy.
Well, somebody that people
That's true.
no one's ever going to have a universal reaction to anything.
But you don't necessarily want to create the conversation. You don't want to give the
What happened
and
to Beth?
why is this guy tweeting this thing?
She wasn't on a cell. She must have hung up.
She hung up?
I think so, because she wasn't on a cell phone. I called her at the apartment.
No.
Where's she at? That's the fucked up part. Why did you hang up?
Okay, yeah, Sam.
So here's Robin doing the exact same sort of thing she did in the Allison call, where she plays both sides of the fence.
Oh, yes.
And it's incredibly annoying. Like, why are you even making your input that you know is just going to piss off Howard? And then the second Beth calls in, you know you're going to switch it. She's such a
Robin
pandering asshole.
She is. She's done this dance. She knows it very well. So, and they all do now. Maybe some of them are not too. They're too stupid to just stay out of it. If I were Bowie, I would not even walk in there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bowie's not a supreme narcissist like Robin is.
Like the other two assholes.
Basically clinically diagnosed. Who knows how the game is played and knows her role.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you hang up? Why would Beth hang up? What the fuck is that?
Because she doesn't want to talk to you. She'll talk to me.
No, she actually doesn't want to talk to any of you. That's the reality.
He's a good guy, right?
What's that?
Guy. He's a good guy, right? He's a good cop. He had
Right.
nothing to do with any of this. It was
Right.
It was,
Yeah, he's the wig in shining armor.
You were kind of commandeering the
See,
conversation.
now
You took over the conversation.
Now you understand, like, I'll fight with you, but I don't want to fight with you and King of All Blacks and the fucking speech impediment guy. And that's how Beth feels.
Right. Yeah, you hang up, King. Gonna ruin my relationship.
No, it's not.
All right, goodbye.
It's not about ruining the relationship. All right, listen,
Thank you.
I love you, man.
Love you too. Thank you. All right.
Now did you hear in that his voice? He really is like he's not. First of all, he's not pissed off at King. He's actually, you did me a huge favor. That's why when he gets off, he's like, all right, goodbye.
Yeah.
Like you did your job, but it backfired on me a little bit because now she's off the air. For this to work, Beth has to stay on the air. As far this is, maybe you guys tell me if I'm wrong. She has to stay on the air and get berated and feel like shit. The minute she, and I don't know if you would call hanging up gray rocking, but maybe she didn't realize that's the worst thing she could have done for him, but the best thing she could have done for her, because now he's starved of that fucking. Now I can't attack anybody. Who am I going to attack?
Well, now if she hangs up and doesn't call back, they're going to have a conversation about this alone, and it's going to be completely different.
Oh yes,
he doesn't like that. It's going to be
right.
something he's going to have to deal with now, and he's realizing, oh fuck, I'm going to have to actually deal with this on a personal level, even though I just set this all up.
Yep. And believe me, guys, if there was a wrap-up show coverage of this as well, we'd be all over it, but there wasn't. And you know very damn well that he makes sure there isn't going to be any discussion of it after this is dealt with. Now, Bob?
Oh, you don't think he'd be embarrassed by the extremely hot guy?
Bob?
I mean, everybody just effectively, they knew the motions. It was effectively all the responsibility was transferred onto King of All Blacks. Yeah, it was his fault, Robin. You shouldn't have said anything. But okay, yeah, we're done. It was like he just can't be responsible for what he just set up there. And it's like they all collectively transferred this responsibility onto him. That was done. But Howard knows that ultimately he's still responsible. He's going to have to deal with this now. And she did cut him off from the abuse there, and that's why the whole thing just ended. If she was still on the phone, it'd still be going on without question.
Do you think, Bob, also just as a side note, that this was a turning point for her where she decided, no, fuck this, and maybe got even more, I don't want to say adversarial, but like she decided, okay, certain things are going to change from now on. I'm never going to be ambushed like that on the fucking air. And ever since sort of hates being on the air unless it's some kind of promo bullshit for whatever she's doing.
Yeah, what I see with like people that are routinely abusive or have NPD, a lot of people, including the listeners of Howard, so they're sort of really up close to the scenario. And over the years, we've made our own little excuses for him, like many people who suffer abuse do. They make excuses for their abuser.
Yeah.
And so to us, this doesn't seem totally abnormal, and we're sort of like breaking it down. But anyone from the outside is going to look at this and say, he had some random New York guy screaming at was this his wife at the time?
Yeah.
Okay, so berating his wife, accusing her of, seeing this guy or having feelings, like, this is terrible. This is just abuse. And on top of that, he's doing that in front of millions of people. Like, this is horrible. So I would assume from her perspective, this definitely at least was a wake-up call into her coming on the air at the very least. Definitely.
Sam?
Well, I think with the Ablo thing, he's now I'm like taking his fucking pronunciation. Oh God, fuck! I've been doing this for too long. I need rehab.
The other day.
Yeah. I was listening to. Bob was listening to Zeppelin.
I have a kitchen island. So I think that the Keith Dr. Abloh thing, he would have been kind of like King of All Blacks, but Keith was smart and turned it on Howard because he sensed the narcissism, so it ended up backfiring for Howard. It ended up putting, I think, more pressure on Howard to go into more detail on how he acts in a relationship and how he responds and what he thinks. And so you thought that you were going to get revealed more about Beth and her problems and her issues, and she needs therapy. But what you really got was, holy shit, this guy is a fucking malignant narcissist.
Yeah, I think Avalo actually did a lot to safeguard Howard, and I think he did a really masterful job in bringing out details and protecting both parties, and that's why he is who he is, right? Or he was who he was, because that takes a certain level of talent, even beyond education. So again, I think Ablo is able to bring the issues out, protect both Beth, protect Howard at the same time. And he's aware of that, and that's sort of what a really good psychologist or psychiatrist will do. In the case of what happened here, it's sort of just a classic, like, he who seeks revenge should dig two graves, because he didn't have that sort of safeguard. So he went in here to seek revenge on Beth, and realistically, both of them wound up looking bad. And then, you don't walk away from this section here that we're coming out of and thinking both of them looked well. Like, Howard clearly knows that he overstepped here. So,
well, how childish, if you're this age and you've been in a marriage once before. Oh, I think about like middle school relationships or high school. I'm upset. I saw a number in his phone or something, and I'm gonna have my friend next to me to talk to you about it in school in the hallway. You know what I mean? This is just pathetic. It's really pathetic. It's like, how old are you? You're going to have your friend. Could you imagine if you had a fight and you're like, listen, we're going to have a fight right now, but hold on, let me get my best friend on speakerphone.
That's covert narcissism. That's why they call it covert. They're never direct. They have no backbone.
What an embarrassment, child.
Beth, Rabbi Nussbaum, we'd like to discuss a few things before we break the glass. Anyway, let's keep going. We're doing well.
See, I get bummed because I see you guys together, and I don't get that out of that. And he just put a thing in your head that doesn't exist.
I'm really not upset about it.
But he made you upset.
He was just working on me, and then Robin said that it's too intimate.
Okay, so it's King of All Black's fault, and then now it's Robin's fault as well. Anybody hear that?
Don't be honest, Robin. Never be honest.
Yeah, why? Don't tell me I see that blue sky and that it's blue. Why are you telling me it's blue? Don't tell me it's blue.
Green, Robin.
How many times did he ask her? Well, you thought it was intimate. You thought it was intimate. She's like, yeah, she's kind of close. And then now all of a sudden, then Robin chimes in. Like, this is how they operate. You can't win.
Yeah, and then Robin the narcissist, ironically enough, going like, But I love being thought of as a voice in this, so I am going to answer and say, yeah, it's a little intimate, and because she feels she's the same as him, she feels she's on the same level, so she doesn't have any problem talking to him as an equal, even though she knows she isn't. Sam.
Well, he normally sources her as a padding versus advice. So when he does source her for, well, Robin, what do you think about this? She's like, oh, I better fucking, jump on that nutsack and start sucking because he never sources me for this kind of shit. Yeah. I'm always just the padding for his bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't say it was too intimate. I said it was intimate.
It was intimate. When Robin says it, that gets me crazy.
It's funny because Jason was going to tweet. Howard's got Beth on the phone about a picture that he thinks is too intimate, and Jason didn't send out the tweet because in writing, too intimate looks worse than it is.
Don't send that out.
He did.
No.
Oh, good. Get my wife back on the phone. Right. Now I feel weird about it.
Now you feel weird about it?
And also, the language is important here, guys. He didn't say get Beth on the phone. He said get my wife on the phone. I don't know about you guys, but to me, when he uses that term, it sounds like ownership. When he says get Beth on the phone, it's more personal. And language, it's very subtle. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, but to me, it sounds like it's completely calculated, and
I agree.
In a way that Howard doesn't realize he's doing at all because he's too stupid. But that's that, and because for years we've been going on. Why does he sometimes say my wife, my wife? The only time you say my wife or my husband is to someone who doesn't even know who they are. That's the only time you won't use their name. Once they've been introduced, they should remember their name. So you go, oh, my wife, Sally, my wife fucking, Clytemnestra. She, you don't have to say my wife anymore.
I was just going to say the only time you say my wife is during an introduction to another person.
Absolutely.
And then when he's saying it, and I notice this because he still does it, it's almost to reaffirm that has a wife, which it's like, okay, yeah, we get it. You have a wife. You've had her for, 12, 13, 14 years.
Right.
Of course you do.
You've never sucked a cock.
But he also does it to commands. Like when he wants something done, get my wife on the phone.
Exactly.
Where's my wife? Where's my wife? What was my wife wearing? Like...
Yeah, I've never noticed that. That's really interesting. Yeah, it is almost like the difference between, hey, bring in little Fido, or saying, hey, get my dog in here. It's like, I own that. It's my dog. Get it in here. Call her up. My wife. You're right.
Remind her. She's mine. Remind her.
The only thing you're missing is chop, chop. Okay, let's keep going. Yet at once, my liege.
King got me all riled up.
But see, that's the point of pictures out there and someone else can use it.
Right. Yeah. What?
That someone else can use it. Like King saw that picture and it created a whole story in his mind.
Right.
Okay, yeah, Sam?
And somebody did use it. They put out an engagement announcement in the paper with Beth and Jared.
But
somebody did that in a local paper.
Did you hear him laughing about it too? That's the other thing. So if you're really upset by it, if you're really upset by the fact that something has just gone down that's not really the way you wanted it to, why would you laugh it off? Even if it was just to say like, oh, this guy's jocular, it's nothing happened. You guys, we'll brush it off. We've been, this isn't a real problem. Meanwhile, it is a real problem because he has to get her on the line and he goes off the air at one point. And I think that's edited out. But go ahead.
I think he's upset. I definitely think he's upset. And I definitely think, sort of the reality of all of this at the end of the day is he is an attractive male and she probably is attracted to him. As she stated, he is a super. What did he call it? She called him a super hot guy or something.
He's a really hot guy.
Extremely hot guy. So,
Howard he could give a toilet paper roll of hundreds to strippers at Scores, and they would never call him attractive.
No,
I know.
And sometimes the truth hurts. Like that's what'll hurt a narcissist more than anything is just the truth.
Right.
The truth kills them because that's what they're constantly running away from, and that's what they've created all these fantasy worlds to get away from. So I think that's just the truth. She is attracted to him. She probably like being next to him. She probably like taking the picture with him. That's just the reality of it.
I think my favorite all-time sort of involuntary dig against him was when Elle Macpherson was on, and he's going on but this really silly argument about, oh, do you think that being nude around your children will traumatize them? She goes, no, you're just being too stereotypical, Jewish motherish about this. And he says, well, what's that supposed to mean? She goes, I saw my mother when she was young, when she was naked, and it traumatized me. And she just blurts out, yeah, I can imagine if she looks like you. Yeah.
Sucks for me. Because you know how guys are. Right when King's like, don't allow that.
He's for all the regulations. You regulate your wife's behavior.
Right. No, I don't regulate anyone's behavior, fortunately for Beth and for myself.
No, I'm saying that's what the king is all about.
That's what the king does. Right. He doesn't let his wife do anything.
Right. He said, I'll go down there and make you quit that job.
Yeah, he's like the Taliban. And he's a street cleaner.
Yeah.
Sam?
I don't regulate my wife's behavior. Okay, I guess not in the sense of what King of All Blacks does, but this is a form of regulating her behavior. This is checking her.
Oh, yeah.
So whether he's doing it in this abrasive way that King of All Blacks does, or he does this in covert narcissistic way, he's fucking on it.
This is extreme.
Yeah.
Extreme.
This is emotional abuse.
Behavior. This is, you slipped up one time, you didn't even know what you were doing, and now I'm going to humiliate you nationally.
Right.
Like, that's pretty extreme behavior.
Yeah, I'd rather get slapped with King of All Blacks fucking street sweeper than deal with this fucking shit.
The image I have of Beth in this situation is, did you ever see that Bugs Bunny where he's got to fight the bull in the ring in Spain, and he's just standing there with the cape, and the bull comes rushing, and then he runs into it, just knocks his head into an anvil, and then Bugs just pulls away the cape to reveal it. I wish I had the skill to Photoshop Beth's head on the bull running into that anvil. Anyway, maybe I'll ask Goizermass to try that one for us. Let's continue.
He lays down the rules. Well, I actually feel glad that I could say something about, because people are always yelling at me about what I do is inappropriate. It's good that I could say to her, hey, you're inappropriate.
Bob?
Well, the one thing I wanted to add there too that I forgot was, not only have they taken the responsibility, he's taken his responsibility and put it on King of All Blacks Island, but then he starts to devalue him. What does he know? He's a garbage guy, or I don't know what he was just saying about him, but he's like, again, pushing it out even further, trying to distance himself from this area that he's already allocated the responsibility for his actions. So,
yeah, because he served his purpose. Now I can discard him. Yeah, for the time being.
You know what I mean? You know how everyone's always like, especially in my personal life, everyone's always telling me how I'm inappropriate on the radio. And yeah. Well, it's good now. It's inappropriate. Now I could say, where is she? She's not coming on? Uh-oh.
No.
Why not?
No.
I don't want to get into it.
She's not into it?
I don't want to get into it. She's not happy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
Sam?
Why is everyone acting? Oh dear! Oh, what? What do you mean? She's not coming back on? No, I don't want to get yelled on by some fucking asshole and told I'm doing something. She didn't even tweet the picture, so that in itself should be. It's crazy to me that they're surprised.
It's just, she just got verbally gangbanged by the entire crew and a street sweeper that called in about something that she didn't actually. Well, I mean, she took the picture with the guy, and it was clear she wanted a piece of him in that picture. If you look at it,
who wouldn't?
Well, especially Howard. But I mean, and then so to get berated like that and to be like to act all surprised. I mean, no one's buying that. Bob?
This is why they wind up, a lot of people who are in close proximity and are the target of NPD wind up with a lot of central nervous system and cardiac disorders, is because like she didn't even tweet it out. She didn't know what she was doing wrong. Again, a lot of her body posturing in that photo is probably subconscious. She probably doesn't even remember taking the photo. And here it is, like you slipped 1 iota of a second. Like, and we're acting like you just tweeted a video of you blowing this guy, giving the finger to Howard's face. Like,
no, that'll get you kicked off YouTube.
Extreme, just like, dude, I cannot slip up at all. So they're very on point. The central nervous system is always very engaged, and when you keep your fight or flight response engaged for a prolonged period of time, you start running into chronic health problems. And this is sort of like a great example of that, in that this was such a minute thing that she probably wasn't even consciously thinking about, and now it's like she's getting blasted not only on a national stage but by multiple people.
Oh my God, her central nervous system must look like fucking the Operation game, like when you press.
That was such a fun game. So stress related, absolutely. Anxiety related, issues.
Yeah. See, this will turn around on me.
That's right.
Thanks, King.
Him, King.
The victim.
That's why I called him an idiot. I'm sorry, King, but this was unnecessary.
Right.
I'm bummed. I'm pissed.
I'm bummed too. I'm not even sure what I'm bummed about. I haven't done any.
Well, I'm bummed that she's very upset based on what somebody else said that wasn't bothering you.
Very upset. Oh, dear.
Very upset.
Who's very upset?
Beth.
Howard.
He has no empathy whatsoever. Who?
Nope.
Huh?
Zero.
Yeah. Allison? Wait,
Beth?
Beth?
That you
Who?
were talking about him, because now that's how empty they are and how much of a victim they are.
So, Bob, you're saying, like, basically what you're hearing now, and guys, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I could be way off. He's actually experiencing joy as much as he can in the fact that he's caused this.
I think he's experienced some, but I think that now, so they're kind of natural progression. What a narcissist will do in an argument is they'll make themselves the victim. So when they've done something wrong, so you remember, for example, with Robin, when she made the comment, when you die, Beth will throw a party, which is top 10 moment. And everyone's like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Like, you just said that out loud. We all think that, but you just said that out loud. Just like, oh, you guys are always on me. You guys, because it's like when they fuck up, their main response to everything is, I have to become the victim. I have to become the victim to absolve myself from everything.
I mean,
so what if Bob,
who's really upset? Who?
Yeah, now I'm upset. I don't know why I'm upset. Yeah, I don't know why you're upset either. You're the motherfucker that started the whole fucking thing. Your wife on and had some guy yelling at her. Why the fuck would you be upset? Like, you hit someone and say, ow. That's how narcissistic. So it's like, again, just like with Robin when she said that comment. Oh, you guys are always picking on me. It's like, dude, you just said when he died, his wife was going to throw a fucking party. Like,
I know.
kind of own that a little bit. I'd be like, man, I wasn't thinking, like, you're not a victim here, Howard.
Oh, you guys. Oh, everyone that jokes around here. I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
I'm leaving. Don't make it about you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, over the last, I don't know, maybe not in the last couple of years because no one's stupid enough to pay for it, but they had those I don't know, bidding things where you could stay, like if you paid enough money, you would go to so-called charity and you could sit in on the news. This is one of those sessions I would love to have sat in on. Just had a big bowl of popcorn with butter and just watch this thing go down while in studio and not even have a live mic. Just listen to it all live and watch it.
Oh my God, you and I would be sitting with popcorn bowls ferociously eating it.
Like a scoopfuls. Okay.
Yeah.
He's upset. Guys, remember that.
Steam shovelfuls of popcorn.
Yes. Well, hey. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, this is what happens.
Yeah.
She didn't want to come on because she said she didn't want to be yelled at by some guy.
Oh.
Well, that
But
he had taken over the
He said
conversation.
he was going to shut up.
But
and
the
let me
whole
do it.
thing is upsetting.
Oh, well, all right. Big deal. Listen, I trust my wife.
Like, you may want to take a break and give her a call.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Fuck, I got to deal with real life issues.
Like, yeah,
No.
you might
I mean,
want to
like,
take responsibility for what you literally just did 5 minutes ago. Oh, really? Fuck.
Shit, I got to speed dial her and talk to her alone.
Yeah, what's her
Like,
number?
Who?
I have to be a human. I have to be a human.
That's the
So-
blonde one that lives with me, right? Okay, yeah, get her on the phone.
I joined one of the Howard Stern Facebook groups that James Santiago, God bless you, James, for pointing this one out to me. No, it's something like 20,000 people in it. I don't know who all those bots are, but he said there's just as many. There's probably more haters there than in our group. So I went in and someone posted. He mentioned that recently that a friend of his just got pregnant, like just had a baby. It was really his daughter, and then he didn't want to mention his daughter. And then I think I said something like, Howard is, over the last few years, he's got to know his daughters personally. He doesn't need a crib note to figure out when their birthdays are anymore.
A friend?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'll have to listen to...
A friend just had a baby. Oh, that's your offspring?
Whatever her name is.
Sorry. I got to go take a break and make a call. What's this?
Baba Booey.
Oh, Baba Booey. Guidance counselor.
Marriage counselor.
Marriage counselor.
Baba Booey.
Hey, he's been married a long time.
He has. He's got a long-standing, strong marriage.
Baba Booey.
He does.
Baba Baba.
We'll be back right after these words.
Baba Booey.
Now, sorry, I should have cut that out, but I guess because it was part of it, I left it in, guys. Sorry. And I'm sorry Bruce Springsteen had to be fucking, like, crucified by that bullshit.
I was about to get down to that. That was pretty good.
You were going to be the Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
I won't even play the harmonica, which will probably people be happy about. Hey, wait, King of All Blacks is back. Hey, man, you put me in a difficult situation.
Listen. Don't let it...
I'm not bothered by my wife. But listen, I'm on America's Got Talent. I was palming Sharon Osbourne's ass.
Well, that's
Okay,
well.
Bob,
Sharon's another guy. That's not a big deal. Go ahead, Sam.
Bob, is this what you would call gaslighting?
That's exactly what I would call gaslighting.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Like the entire event that just happened, not even 30 minutes ago, didn't happen. Yeah, I would say that's
You didn't hear
that's
it.
gaslighting. Sure.
So him in a relationship is like the Beirut explosion. He's just fucking. It's a fucking explosion.
Yeah, absolutely.
But your man, that has nothing to do with what she did.
No, stop it. Stop it. You're going to cause problems in my marriage now.
No,
I got a good thing going.
let's think about it for a second. Let's think about it.
Oh, this
He's
guy.
gonna go.
No. Let's just calm down. Okay.
I'm calm.
Well, all right. But why are you the bad guy now? And me? Why?
No, it's not that we're bad guys. It's just, it's...
So the same guy who controls when Chris Rock comes in and some caller goes, "Why is Chris such an N-word?" The same guy who controls whoever calls in. It's all pre-planned. Do you guys remember? I know Sam, you probably do. When an email, Hansy, good old Hansy, our Pakistani pothead buddy from Toronto, sent in a screenshot of the email Gary sent him about saying, "Okay, now you can call in."
Yes.
And so there's nothing. This is well into the 2010s. It's whatever you call the decade, and he there's nothing that he leaves to chance. This is going to tie into a future episode we're going to do actually about callers like involving this idea. even the call, right down to the callers, they just get more scripted, and this is how many people have, to the point where now there's no real callers. It's just back office staff acting as callers when he needs to argue some point. It's such bullshit. So, Sam, you were going to say?
Yeah, and Hansy also started doing something that a lot of people started doing, which is another reason why the calls ended. He would record the call, and it would be edited for the air.
Absolutely.
So they had a huge what's it called when you start the call and the delay time. Sorry,
yes,
delay time. They kept increasing that time.
They had to extend it.
It was at 8 minutes at one point.
Oh, sure.
So callers could have gotten edited easily, and Hansy posted a bunch of calls that were edited, and to make it look like Howard's the winner of the conversation. It's like, no, you weren't.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, but when
I really don't have a problem with my wife posing in a picture next to a guy. I don't, and you do.
Well, where did that get you?
What do you mean, what did that get me? I got a good marriage.
No. I'm not talking. I think you have a perfect marriage. But the reason why it's perfect is because you set certain, you don't say it, but you set certain barriers, like subconsciously.
Oh, God. And now we got fucking Professor King of All Blacks telling you the marriage theory. Sam, you first, and then Bob. Go ahead.
This is like if Cardi B were to give psychology advice. Fucking what the fuck?
Might have to make a Photoshop out of this.
They brought him back on just to be a moron. It's like, Howard, when he was just on, you were sitting there going, huh? You guys remember that? We just discussed it.
You're making some points.
You were just about to listen to Cardi B. You were about to be like, listen, you're smart. You know things.
I think you guys have a memory. We just discussed 15 minutes ago. Yeah, she did do that. I mean, you can't sit here and act like you did not spur that you did not, at least while he was at the phone. He was sitting there going, yeah, what do you guys think? He's acting like that never even happened. This is complete. If anybody is out there that's listening that hasn't had experience with NPD, that's wondering what gaslighting is, this is literally one of the best examples I can ever show you. Because
Natalie Maines, I hope you're listening. Natalie Maines, hope you're listening. She actually wrote a song, Gaslighter.
She's completely acting like that entire conversation did not happen, that he was spurring him along. Howard did not combat him at all. He gave him a platform. He stoked the fire. This is, I think, what Howard's trying to do now is he's trying to sandbag him, trying to distance himself more from what he did. Not only just to preserve what he has with Best, but even with his audience, because it just looks so bad.
It's funny because I'm now putting the audio for the Fox pilot, the second part, and it's okay. So from the time he was honest about, the Fox didn't want him on the show, didn't want his show, to the time where he goes, I never wanted a talk show. It's years and years. This gaslighting is about 5 minutes apart. So he's gotten so close to between the truth and the lie. It's staggering how fast that's gone.
He's gaslighting his audience.
Yeah.
He just abuses his audience. That's why we're all so fucking pissed at this guy.
That's a great point.
These guys, we were talking about that one channel. I don't know if I can mention it on here or not, but there's a couple channels out right now that are uploading so much Howard content, and all the top comments are just like, this guy's fucking show sucks now. This guy was a fraud. Nothing's good. Nothing's like, hey, this is really funny. It's all like, they're all personal attacks.
Yes.
We're all now at this point that
abused.
We're just this sort of discarded, abused mass that is Howard Stern.
Wiggy Anonymous. Go ahead, Sam.
Bob, do people with NPD have memories of a goldfish? Because it just seems to me that he doesn't remember anything that he just said, and he convinces, the way he says it, it's convincing. Oh yeah, look, you're ruining my relationship, King. I mean, he really believes it himself. So is it bad memory, or they're just great actors?
No, it's both. They actually believe their fantasy world. They accept the narrative, they believe it, and they create it and believe it to be real. Because their world is emotionally, their thinking is emotionally based. It's not logic based.
Right.
So they're able to suspend that sort of logic in order to create these actual things. But at the same time, they remember what they did. So he knows what he did here. He needs to create a false memory. It's simultaneous. Right now, I think it's so fresh. I think Howard, there's no way he doesn't remember what he just said 10 minutes ago. It's just not possible. I think that he definitely knows he fucked up. And he definitely knows that he needs to spin this, and he's gaslighting his audience, and he's gaslighting King of All Blacks.
So, Bob, you figure he thought he presumed he was going to get away with this because he had numbers on his side, or because he owned, it's his pocketbook. She's going to be subservient. She'll listen to him the entire time. So when she hangs up, all of a sudden the script is thrown out.
Well, the problem is, like I said, he who seeks revenge should dig two graves, because he did exactly what he wanted to do. He hurt her. He abused her, he sandbagged her, he did all those things, but it also backfired. And he looks bad.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't look good.
I don't think he anticipated her saying the extremely hot guy comment either, which made her look even worse, which he wanted to sandbag her, but he didn't want to give it away that he's this, lecherous, unattractive fucking ghoul. And look at this extremely hot guy, because that plays to his ego, that fucking.
I would say he didn't anticipate her getting off air. I think that he thought, you're going to take as much as I want to give you because I paid that amount. And he was expecting her to go, no, I'm not doing this. Like, even and you know what? She did take that much abuse to the point that she said, I'm sorry, I didn't think about that. I'll reconsider it. And even after that, he had to keep going. So then she left because he's like, I took it too far. You can just tell by the way that they're all talking about it and by the way he's talking about it. I took it too far. I abused her too much. And
what a dreamboat.
I look like the bad guy.
Well, he sandbagged her and he wanted to teabag Jared.
And that over.
Right, like I don't go to strip clubs and I don't,
Exactly.
Right.
You stop what you was doing. You know what I'm saying? You
Well, she isn't up to anything bad. She's not.
See, you shouldn't. You don't know that.
I know her.
You know that. You don't know.
All right. Thank you.
I'm telling you, Howard, damn.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute, King.
What do
Your
you want me to
logic
do?
is faulty, because so she doesn't pose with a picture like that. She could still be up to something.
Wow. That's I don't think I remember that part at all where Robin says that.
That's helpful.
Exactly. Now we know who's not getting any fucking Ben and Jerry's gift certificates from Beth come Christmas time. That's wow. So that actually
no fucking moo-moos and popcorn tins for you, bitch.
It's you damned if you do, damned if you don't. Robin knows where Howard's mind is.
Yeah.
And she's like, at this point, do I keep it going? Do I not? Because she knows where he is, and we all know where he is. He's mad about it. He realizes he fucked up. How much do we kind of keep going with the original narrative? How much do we abandon that? We're trashing King, which is, again, kind of distancing himself from his behavior. But at the same time, we don't want to invalidate Howard. Like, this is how complicated it is dealing with them.
Do you guys think, and I'll pose it to both of you, and Bob, you can answer first, please. Do you think that in Robin's mind, she's going, even though she's not verbalizing it, saying, Beth's temporary, I'm permanent, and that's why I can get away with saying stuff like that? Or do you think, well, she knows his temperature, she knows she can get away with this much right now, and that's just, like, there's a certain amount she can go?
She is always catering to Howard.
Mm-hmm.
She is always catering to him, so I think what she's trying to do is reading between the lines. So she knows what the original narrative was. She knows what they were trying to drive home. She knows that Howard is a little bit conflicted right now, wants to keep validating his original attack. Yeah, I don't think that she's taking that arrogant of a stance. I think that she's just trying to feel out Howard, and she has her own unself-awareness. Narcissists are very unself-aware. So
no kidding. Sam?
I think that she knows that Howard can't be alone. She always has said that. So I don't think she thinks Beth is replaceable because Howard always needs someone at all times catering to him. So I don't think she thinks Beth is going anywhere.
Okay, fair enough.
That's right. In fact, if she was up to something, she wouldn't put.
That's right.
She wouldn't pose like that.
If you have a booger in your nose.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? Robin knows that he's still hanging on to the original narrative. Did you just hear the point he just made? He just said she wouldn't pose like that if she didn't think so. Robin knows him. She knows, like, hey, he still has the original narrative in his mind, and I can't let that go. And what did he just do? He just brought it back to the original point.
Wow.
And I didn't tell you had a booger in your nose. That makes me a good guy? It makes me a bad guy. A good guy will tell you got a booger in your nose.
Well, thank you for telling me there's a booger
Thank
in
you
my
for being
nose.
a good guy.
Can I tell you the difference? A booger in your nose is definite. You either have one or you don't. He's making an opinion.
Okay, well, before you go ahead, I know you got to do a show, but answer me this. What is the guy going to say when she tells him? You know what he's going to say? I'm a psychic. You know what he's going to say? Oh, come on. What the fuck is wrong with Howard? You know?
All right.
And he keeps them on the air. That's the kind of that's also
How
part
old
of the
are
point.
these
like,
people?
Yeah.
He's keeping
People
them
are in
on
their
the air.
50s.
It's a very expensive sandbox.
Because this is all the reluctant Howard, the remorseful Howard is all an act. So he's keeping him on the ear. He's like, yeah. And, you know, even the original point, Robin just brought it back. Yeah, that was intimate. It's just an act.
I can't get over how immature. It's really baffling.
Yeah.
All right, well, if you hadn't brought it up, it wouldn't have been an issue.
Yeah, but
All right, thank you for telling me there's a booger on my nose. Got it.
Yeah, but
Okay.
don't let her off the hook.
Okay, I'll put her in a burqa.
Can I ask King one question?
Yeah.
King, have you ever struck your wife?
Back in the day?
That's who you're taking advice from, Howard.
I know.
If I took drugs before and I don't take them no more, I'm still a drug addict?
Okay. I don't even know what Bowie's going
Cardi.
for. Exactly.
Fucking idiot.
He had to let because they're all playing their roles. Bowie was there to devalue him, neutralize. He had to throw that one last thing in about him hitting his wife.
Right.
Just to really devalue it, distance. It's this weird balance he has between Robin and Gary.
Yeah, the flying monkeys are the the sad face and happy face and the acting, the famous masks. And then you're right, they do both have their distinct roles to play within the framework that he's designed in terms of setting that bullshit like this Mobius band trap that Beth is now on.
Come on,
no, your mentality.
You should question who you're listening to.
Right. That's what I'm questioning. All right, thank you, sir.
But you don't think I'm intelligent, Howard?
Yes, you're very intelligent.
All right, so if...
All right. You made your point. What am I going to do about it?
He's insisting on this.
I hear it.
My only last point is, please, do not let her off the hook.
All right.
Okay, so now we only have the last 20 seconds, and Bob's shaking his head, guys. You can't see it, but I'm telling you, it's happening.
If you really thought someone came on and jeopardized your marriage and you were done with them, every time you keep restarting the clip, I'm like, God damn, this guy is still fucking on here. Like,
yeah,
how many last words is he gonna get? Like,
hold it.
Beth is probably still listening. So this is even further abuse. Like, I'd be like, I'm not going to talk to him, but I'm going to see how this plays out. It's just natural curiosity. Unless she was like, fuck it, and just started chugging vodka. I mean,
I would say it's the latter, to be honest with you, because she heard all she needed to hear to be mad at him, and anything more would have just been like, okay, that's putting water in a glass that's already full. So she's already pissed off with him. So whatever he says can only make her slightly more angry than she already is. So I'd love to be a fucking fly in that conversation. I'd love to be the surveillance bug on that conversation. So this is where I think he gets off the air and he talks to her.
Against her for the rest of her life.
No, you should. You should.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
And you see where that leads? Then it leads to mistrust on her part of me and all that.
It leads, forget mistrust. It's the animosity.
Right. Yeah. See?
We're going to now play a clip from a David Spade interview of this year. And in it, they're talking about, I think it's a Jimmy Kimmel kind of, discussion about, being at one of his soirees or being on vacation with him. And then Howard mentions something that you have to hear. Otherwise, it makes no sense for me to explain it. One sec.
I'll be back, but I want to crash one of your big trip sometime and try to out weird you, because I know you're the weird one on the trips, but I told Jimmy, I go, oh, you haven't seen anything.
Well, I'm pretty weird.
Wait till I come, and I go, what kind of chair do you have there?
When Jimmy and I just went to Mexico this past time, I left without saying goodbye to anyone.
I'm okay with that.
That's pretty weird.
Okay, hold on. No, it's just so far it's just being a rude asshole, but just stay with us, guys.
Weird.
I know, but I don't ever say goodbye at a party. I
left dinner, and then they never saw me again. How's that for weird? You're going to out weird me?
They didn't even know that you weren't going to show up at the next event?
I left Beth at the dinner, and she didn't know I left either.
Oh, that's pretty.
Are you going to out weird me?
No.
All right.
I don't know. Thoughts? Anyone? Bueller?
Okay.
Bueller?
Can I let me tackle this fucking. Could you imagine leaving your spouse somewhere without telling them you're leaving? And that's just normal. And then you leave the trip without saying goodbye. So clearly, we all know Beth likes to drink a whole lot. And she's embarrassed herself in multiple anecdotes over time for her Beth being drunk and staying at parties and, hoping he goes home or doesn't go at all.
Right.
I really think on this trip, something he and her were not vibing. She probably got drunk. He doesn't drink. He's no fun. And he was like, I can't keep up this front. Because when she gets drunk, it probably is even harder to keep and maintain her and the front and the control. So he was just like, I'm bailing on all of this altogether. I guarantee they didn't even go home together.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And I don't think it was to keep up his own front. I think it was just she's being a human and having fun and drinking, and I don't want her to drink because I want to control and I want to do, and I'm not drinking, and she's not bowing to my control, so I just left her there. And that's why he's like saying like, I just left my wife there. He remembers that, like he remembers doing that. And
didn't it sound, Bob? Didn't it sound like I showed her?
It's exactly how it sounded. Yeah. And he brought her up there to.
But it's supposed to be out weirding Spade. That's not out weirding. That's just being a dick.
That's just being.
That's
not
weird.
Asshole.
You're just a fucking asshole.
Yeah, selfish prick, obviously. But also the thing is, I think I played the clip, the last one, where they go, the interviewer says, what's the perfect night out? And he goes, a glass of wine, dinner. And the first thing out of her mouth when they asked her the same question was, definitely a bottle of wine. So,
shot of heroin.
Exactly. Yeah, snorting
oxys, fucking 80s.
Right, exactly. So
burning the septum in my fucking head.
Would it surprise you at all, Bob, if she was like basically a problem drinker at least, or a drug, like some kind of drug addict, over the counter, even not over the counter, but like prescription drug addict, because to deal with him when she has to?
It is extremely uncommon, or it is extremely common for people that are this close proximity to someone with NPD that are their targets to be alcoholics, drug users, opiate users, Xanax. I mean, anything to calm down that central nervous system. Several people I've seen have used alcohol to excess in order just to relieve the stress of being in that person's proximity. So
Well,
no, not at all.
shit.
Very, very common. There was someone sent me a Dr. Phil episode the other day where the guy was the parent was a severe narcissistic personality, and the son was just hooked on all types of opioid-based medications.
Wow.
So yeah, no, that would not be uncommon at all, and I'm sure she drank in order to just calm that anxiety. And the thing is too, why I think Beth didn't want them to go to Pittsburgh and these vacations, they're very much at the whim of the person who brought them there. They're going to be miserable, and you're sort of the chief punching bag in all these scenarios, because Howard isn't going to make David Spade the punching bag, or Jimmy Kimmel, or whichever one of those guys he was out there with. It's going to be Beth. And I think Beth knows that. That's why she doesn't want him there for a lot of those trips. And she probably just had an extra couple of drinks. I don't know that she drank to excess, but he's probably upset with that. Again, extreme control. And
it could have been as simple as, and Sam, I'll let you. I'll make sure you get to say what you got to say. But I'm going to forget this. Could it have simply been a matter of, I want to leave. Well, I want to stay and have a couple more drinks, just a couple more or one more. And he's like, well, fuck this, I'm going, because we've seen it from him before. Look at the Gary dinner party, which is one of the best examples of someone being an entitled fucking king baby on a night. It wasn't even a work night, and he decided, I'm not sticking through this bullshit. I want to leave because
think happened.
Yeah.
Well, then we're all these years far removed, and Beth catered to his signals of, I need to be rescued. We're leaving. Get me out of this dinner party. But now we're at the point where they're on fucking vacation. There is no work. There's nothing to do. They have a giant Mexican villa. They made the mistake, in Howard's eyes, of going into town for dinner and agreeing to it. Now, this had traffic, I guess, because he talks more in depth about this at a later point. And in the car, he was stewing about the traffic to the point where you can just imagine how that car ride went. I mean, you could imagine. She probably got to that restaurant and drank like a fucking fish. I hope she hit up some fucking Mexican for ecstasy and just went bananas. I mean, I'm not even kidding.
I mean, listening to what you're saying, wouldn't you? I want to drink after hearing all this shit.
I'd be licking Molly off of a fucking
Sure.
bathroom attendant's asshole.
Whatever you got.
I wouldn't
whatever
give a
you got.
shit.
I just not deal with this motherfucker. Like, that's probably what she did. She's probably like, dude, we have this agreement. You guys think the agreement is for one reason. I think it's for another. But either way, there's an agreement.
Imagine being in traffic with this fucking maniac. Oh, fuck. I'm sweating thinking about what's happening. Like, oh, God, there's like a fucking... There's a traffic, there's something's blocking. And could you imagine without Ronnie what he was like in a foreign country in traffic? Holy shit.
Bob? Yeah, go ahead, please, Bob.
Time she gets this guy out of the country to take what her sort of imagination or fantasy was, exotic vacations. She's probably like, no, I got you out of the house. Like, no, I'm going to have 2 drinks. I don't give a fuck. Like, this is part of. I'm honoring
without
my
saying
part
anything.
Sam, hold on.
What is his language? He said, I left her. I left my wife. He was just thinking about her. Like, he was just like, that's what I did. So,
Sam, in this instance, right? Okay, how do I explain? Do you have any sort of empathy or not sympathy, but empathy for Beth in that kind of situation? Because it sounds like if you're very descriptive about what substance, how far you'd go.
No, that's just for the podcast and being colorful. Yeah. I mean, this is what I do. It's not for colorful. I mean, it's colorful language.
That was a Laurentian colored pencil pack, like a 48 pack. This is a Canadian reference. Only the 6 Canadian listeners we have will get that one.
I was thinking of smelling markers. Oh,
wow.
Scented.
Was it in I think of Tommy Boy when Chris Farley goes to the gas station, pulls out the pump and goes and starts sniffing his hands.
They're the best. I love scented crayons.
Huffing markers. Okay, so let's the next clip is called Beefus Failed Suicide Attempt. And for those who still don't understand Beefus, I believe it came from in the show. This is a little sidetrack, but it's okay. It happens. On the show, they used to call her Betho all the time, like the beautiful Betho and whatever. But they said it so often and so fast in that New York way, it started sounding like Beffo, Beffo, which got close to beef. And then became Beefus, and then every derivative. So that's my presumption, but I can't say. Anyway, the etymology of the Stern Show as we go one by one.
I don't get it. Coronavirus
You'll never
isn't
see
going
Manhattan
away.
again, Beth. It's not gonna happen.
Honey, we're here. That's it.
Well, we're together.
But you have to pace yourself.
So look of love, huh? Well, together.
Oh my God.
She just got like a positive cancer result. Like, I gotta do what I gotta do. I guess.
Sloan Kettering waiting room.
Sloan Kettering. Yeah, that's what we should call their fucking place.
That had all the fucking positivity of a fucking handicapped cheerleader. What the fuck?
Sounds like one of Jerry's kids on the telephone.
Saudi Arabian, just your hands getting cut off. I guess I did it. My hands gotta go.
Yeah.
At least I still got my feet.
What's that square called in Saudi Arabia it's like a famous site where there's lashings? It's like a famous square and there's like blood in the sewers. Sorry.
I'll put a picture of it.
Square, I think is what it's called.
I forgot. Cut and I don't know.
Wiggy Junction.
Hello.
Positive.
Thank you. For me, I'm living my fantasy. I'm doing a radio show from my basement. This is what I used to dream of when I was a little boy. I would sit there and go, I'd sit in my parents' house with a tape recorder and do shows.
Sam's losing it. Go ahead. It's okay.
I'm in my basement.
He's in the closet in the basement.
Can you imagine being this old and talking about this is your little boy fantasy?
Bob,
I wanted micro machines.
I'm half the guy's age. Like, I don't think about my fantasy. I don't know. I think I wanted to be in the NHL.
Do you think about the Christmas list that you got?
No.
When you were 10? You want Mighty Max?
No, none of them. I don't remember any of them. I remember wanting to be in the NHL when I was a kid, and that was something I let go when I was 10.
You're not in your basement talking about it now?
I'm not 70 years old still talking about it. No.
Well, imagine let's say, for example, Bob, you had his money, right? And we don't know exactly, but we know it's a lot. When would you have retired?
I mean, if he can continue to make the money that he is, I don't know that I would have retired. I'm just like a different person. Like, if I could continue to give a quality product and do what I was doing well, I would continue to do it because it's such a low impact job. Yeah. It's just, he's not really affecting. Yeah, it's strenuous.
He makes it seem as though he's like fucking Ken Patera pushing back a truck with his
I
legs.
mean, yeah, what fucking Chilean coal mine is this guy working in? I'm sitting here. Well, I'm just sitting here thinking like, your childhood fantasy. Like, I haven't had that thought in so fucking long. I don't even know what mine was. I remember wanting to be in the NHL as a very, very, very young kid, and I have not entertained that idea in like 20 years. And I'm half the guy's age. I'm less than half the guy's age. Like, I have not thought about that.
All I have is the imagery of those like miners in the disaster being pulled out.
All this dust on his face. I might have to make a Photoshop.
I'm fucking dying.
Kentucky nickel mine or something.
You think he's up there with the Chilean coal miners? I swear to God, the way he talks about it. And that's the way a lot of narcissists, like, they just resent that they have to work. It doesn't matter how great the job is. They just resent that little bit of control. They just resent that they have to work. They resent, you know what I've seen with them a lot too? They resent teachers for getting summers off. Like, they resent any, I've seen that in so many of them. They resent any work, like anybody that gets any break, and you're sitting here like, dude, you have such an amazing job. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're so out of touch with reality. It is absolutely, your life is a fucking acid trip, bro.
His
Like,
life is so good that he like fucking leaves vacation.
Yeah,
like,
you are
vacations are a problem.
hallucinating vacation issues is what his
Vacation isn't
biggest
work.
problem.
Vacation is work for this fucking loser.
Imagine lying on like a lounge chair with a fucking daiquiri or whatever the fuck in the south of France on a yacht the size of like Kansas, and
I'm
going,
getting out of here.
This sucks.
This is bullshit.
Oh God. That was 27 seconds into a 90-second clip. It was perfect.
And then when I would dream like, hey, and one day maybe I'll get laid. So I'm with the hottest woman.
Oh, yeah, real hot.
I'm with the hottest woman. You look like you stepped out of a dream. And I'm doing shows. So, it's not all bad.
I'm glad you.
I don't know what your dream was, Beth.
Wasn't being locked up with me. Honey, what was your dream?
It was being married to wildlife. And
Remember the Jerry clip? That was my dream.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cleaning a house?
I'm living my dream.
No, I love you.
I love you.
I'm living my dream. She sounds drunk at 7 a.m. She's probably didn't even go to bed.
I guarantee she's
I'm living my dream.
I guarantee she's a fucking day drinker.
Listen, Fillmore.
And yes, during
I'm
COVID.
living it. I get to be with you, Fillmore. It's great. I'm living it. My dream.
I'm living my dream. Oh
and
my
you have a
God.
dream? You have a dream?
Sorry, hold on. Go ahead.
I had a dream. It's to be the biggest Pittsburgh model ever. And I'm living my dream. You hear it? Right here is a good dream. See?
The kind of dreams Beth has, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
No, they're great, but you gave me like 100.
Yeah, I knew you were hungry.
Yeah.
Yep, you're hungry for strawberries. You want some?
Oh, did she fall again?
Oh, no. What did you do? Wait, come here. Oh no, come here. Oh, honey, put a light up. Hold on.
Oh, my God.
I'll be right back. Play it off.
You got
I turned the lights out.
obstacles in that. What is
Hold
that?
on.
It's an obstacle course.
I'll be right back. To play a song. She hurt herself.
Oh, dear.
Why the fuck would you hurt yourself?
The fucking idiot hurt herself. Can you believe it?
What an asshole. She really is the coyote in the Roadrunner cartoons, just getting shit.
She sounds like a fucking MK Ultra victim. This is my dream. This is what I wanted to do. Like, how much mental torment have you been put through? I don't know. That's a whole other
I'm living my dream.
I'm
There's a
living-
gun trained on her.
Yeah.
Do you think she has like a chip in her head that he has to like press a button every so often and be like, fuck, she needs to be adjusted.
Yeah.
Something's not right.
Spock's brain. The next clip is real short. It's called "Blobbin' Sticks Up for Beefus."
Well, is she okay?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
look.
she's.
I knew Bob would laugh at that. Go ahead. Didn't we need 5
I
seconds?
don't know. Fuck her.
Who cares?
I mean, fucking. Yeah, I don't know. It
She's
sounded
such
like
a fucking idiot. I can't believe she wakes up. Fuck her.
He answered that the same way you might answer, like, "So when are you going out?" I'm not sure. You know?
Yeah.
she sounded like she tripped over a bookcase and a couch and a fucking,
Oh,
a
she tried
hail
to, she
of.
tried to hang herself. I think is what happened.
And then
She kicked off the stool.
Oh, fuck.
That was
I don't.
so
I don't know. What did you do?
I think she wants to be married with me. This little weird noose thing that she's got wrapped around her neck. She kicked a stool out, but this is her fantasy.
You know what? She's like fucking rich housewife Jessie Smollett.
Oh shit! I know we're getting some shit from laughing too much, but for those people, fuck off. We don't do it inorganically.
Everywhere in the house, probably.
Exactly. She's got them stashed away like alcoholics have like booze in the cistern.
Yeah.
She decorates with them.
Cat noose, just.
She's got like at the dinner table. She takes the serviette and she makes it into a noose, like subconsciously.
She watches
no,
Shawshank
the right
Redemption.
thing.
She's like, "Look, I got some ideas from Brooks."
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, Wiggy's with Ralph. He's going, "You're gonna swallow what I give you to swallow."
I'm serious with you now. She's exhausted.
I know. I don't know what to.
It's hard to drink a fucking liter of vodka and fucking change litter.
Robin, what are you yelling at me for?
Because
doing
you're
shit, too.
the reason for it.
I'm
you
the
gotta
reason.
help out.
I am. Are you crazy? You don't even know what I'm doing. I'm fucking exhausted too. I mean, help out. I do help out.
Bob's shaking his head. Go ahead, Sam.
Go ahead, Bob. No, go, Bob.
It doesn't matter how much I treat her like shit. She still just has this mind of her own. You don't know what I'm doing. She's not doing fucking anything.
I know, like you don't know what I'm doing. He's the equivalent of Stephen Hawking's right now in his own home. I mean, that guy
Stephen
probably
Hawking
does.
will at least move himself around his own house. Like she's probably picking him up and moving him from couch to couch.
Well, she actually has the diction of Stephen Hawking. So, I mean, just throw in like a computer filter. That's all you need. Go ahead, Sam.
You know what I just thought of? He's obsessed with my 600-pound life, plus because he has an eating disorder, and so does Beth.
Absolutely.
And I think he's jealous of the fact that these people get other people to push them into a bath and a shower and feed them and get them out of bed and change them and clothe them.
Probably
Maybe he is like, you know what? I love this show. Look at how incapable everyone is. It does everything for me.
But maybe also the fact that they can eat whatever they like, and he, whatever, psychologically just can't. I mean, he'd love for nothing more than to be fucking bathing. His ideal is bathing or fucking Ralph on a bed of fucking Meat Lovers pepperoni. You know, like Meat Lovers fucking 2-for-1 Domino's, like a big, huge one. And like, I don't know. I've known people with eating disorders. I grew up with a pair of twins who were really sweet girls, but in high school they were, it was really sickening. And I used to tease them, well, like privately to them, and say like, guys, I don't want to see the fucking Karen Carpenter twins eat a fucking steak. There's something wrong. And they eventually did sort of clean up. There's no one in his life to tell him this is not right. Your behavior here, this narcissistic personality disorder, is bullshit. you want to join the living, now's the time to start. So for Beth, what's the recourse? Drink, take drugs, or leave him. And she's not going to leave him. She can get whatever fucking pills she wants or whatever, booze she wants. And God only knows what their, prenup is like. Sorry, I'm sorry for that little, I might end up cutting that one out, but.
No, that's okay. I mean, you sound really sensitive in that.
That's literally what's happening. She
Jesus.
needs alcohol and drugs to deal with this.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
And it's not COVID because, guys, that was like the middle of February. That was just the second, like going into the third week of February. So it's not like, oh, we had months of this and there's such mental anguish. No, this was at the start, at least in the States. So, yeah,
well,
Sam.
Also, too, didn't you see that picture she posted that she got put in the blast for that I did the read for? She had slashes on her wrists.
I couldn't understand I couldn't explain that. It looked like a divot, like a wedge of fucking meat was there's, if you're really emaciated, the bones of your wrist, there will be some gap. Could it have just been like she's so starved?
No, it was scarring. I know what scar tissue looks like. It was scar tissue on her wrists it was a buildup. It was a buildup of it. It wasn't just one slash and scar. It was a bunch of them, and it looked so obvious that that's what it was. And people were saying, "Oh, well, she might have carpal tunnel." From what? Because she's typing so much. I mean,
carpal tunnel is going to leave a scar.
I was like, no, I don't see that as a plausible excuse whatsoever. There was a ton of scar tissue on her wrists.
Not only that, it went the way a suicide victim, who does their research, would know. You slice up, you don't slice across. Sorry, guys, if any are looking for tips on how to off yourself, you came to the right show. And also go in a bath to let it flow, just like Frankie Pentangeli in Godfather 2. But it would explain why she covers it up all those years with those stupid leg arm warmers, that she used to.
I know.
You're down there in that basement wiring, and she's cleaning that whole place and
believe me,
birthing cats.
I told her she got to stop taking on all those cats.
She needs some sleep.
I know. What do you think? What do you think I'm doing? Sitting and ignoring the situation?
Yes.
No, well, you're wrong.
That's what it looks like.
You're insulting me. Well, you know what? You're wrong. You're wrong.
No,
you're wrong.
What are you going to do?
Yep, Sam.
You think I'm ignoring the situation. So right there, that rhetoric, what he just said, the situation, this is one incident, right? But there's a situation that's an entirely different, separate entity. When you say that something's a situation, that means there has been an ongoing incident that is now a situation. You don't say that unless something has spiraled into a situation.
And Robin knows the torment he's putting her through. She's like, look, take it easy on the girl. Like, I know how you are. Oh, yeah, it's the cat. She's like, yeah, the cats. Sure. Just make sure that you're taking it easy. I am, I'm keeping an eye on it. She's just basically saying like, hey, I know you're a fucking piece of shit. You're not letting that fucking girl get a minute of rest. Just try to be a human for a second.
Do you think that Beth fell on purpose to trigger that response out of Robin to tell him to leave her the fuck alone? Because she knew that she couldn't tell him herself. Like, do you think that I know she might have been drunk or fucked up or whatever.
No,
but
I don't think she did it on purpose. I think the more time away from Howard Beth can spend, the better. Like, I don't think she was like, hey, don't worry about it. Leave me alone. Go back on your show. Like, no, I don't want anything. Just stay on your side. Like, don't want anything to do with you. Just get away from.
No, it's actually a good question, Sam, because a lot of people have theorized like that was her indirectly trying to get positive attention from him. That was a way to get it, and even then, that's the response you get. What did you do? Come here. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
no, get away. Guys, I'm fine.
Yeah. Go back to your make believe radio show.
Yeah.
A ton of stuff, but we're both exhausted.
Is she ever sitting down while you're doing this stuff?
No.
That's what I'm talking about. She needs to be spelled. She needs some rest.
Now, this next clip is called Wig Horrified by the Thought of Helping His Wife.
Well, is she okay?
Yeah, well, how am I going to make that happen? She won't rest. What am I going to do? She's not a child. Can't tell her to rest. I told her already. What's the matter with you?
She's emotional. She's everything. This is terrible.
Yeah, Sam?
That exasperation out of Robin, that's exactly what we do. So that tells me Robin is, even though she's a narcissist, she's in tune with what a fucking maniac he is.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. You're right.
What I'm doing? How can you insult me like that? You know what? I was busy yesterday. I was setting up that fucking air purifier you told me to buy. It took me 2.5 hours. What do you think? I'm doing nothing?
Yeah, Sam.
So now it's Robin's fault. So Howard isn't as empathetic as he could be because Robin suggested an air purifier that he decided to buy. And he's such a fucking dolt and can't put it together. So now it's her fault that he's not as responsive.
Yeah.
He's a victim.
Hate him.
Yeah. Where was his fucking air purifier tutor when he needed him?
I'm here doing all kind of shit.
You broke her room. One comfort she had, you messed up.
Her TV wasn't working, and I got it back on, but I couldn't get her TiVo working. You don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, Sam?
You broke her room. Okay. So
he's getting gone.
What? Her room?
Yeah. Her room. Nice.
Hers?
Her room.
Don't you you're married or something?
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Now, it would have been fine if she had explained her office, her office. I don't know what the fuck she would need an office for, but you get the point.
Yeah, her escape from your relentless abuse and consequential, her fun room.
Her panic room.
Yeah, her panic room.
Working.
Yeah.
Well, things are going to break in that house, Howard.
Yeah, so?
And you can't fix everything.
Well, I'm trying to fix as many things as I can.
It's all going to fall apart. You're going to have to let people in there.
Good. Well, when my wife tells me to let people in, I will. She doesn't want
She's not going to do that because she knows that'll make you crazy. You're going to have to buck up.
I am bucked up.
Go hide while people are there.
Wow.
What in the fucking mental patient conversation is this?
Robin is so in tune with his issues. She knows everything. Her room broke. Sure. Just let me tell you what's going to happen from here on. It's like she's so in tune with how fucking dysfunctional he is. And she's at the end of her career. She kind of doesn't give a fuck.
Not anymore.
Dude, you're an insane person.
Yeah.
You're torturing your wife to a point that she's gonna leave you. I'm trying to tell you a couple things here. I don't care if you listen to me or you don't listen to me. That's literally what I'm getting from everything that she's saying right now.
It's like 100%. don't say you weren't warned, shithead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
She's also saying she's saying to Beth too, in a way. She's talking to her through the radio, I feel like, saying, you guys have a giant mansion. Things are going to break down. Things are going to need to be cleaned. She can't do this by herself. No. I'm here for you. I'm listening to what you're saying. You're exhausted. You're falling apart. And Howard, if she kills herself or something happens to her, you're going to fall apart too, because it'll look awful on you, because all of these tapes that we have will replay what a monster you are, which good. I hope they do someday. But
well, that's what we're here for.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I know exactly what I'm talking about. This can't go on.
Hey, Ralph.
Go on.
Hey, just listening to you and Beth, and I thought about this a lot, because I'm single and
another girlfriend heard from.
Oh my God! So this is like King of All Blacks, but his fucking butt buddy. I mean, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Yeah.
And sometimes I think like, oh, wow, I'm lonely. It'd be nice to be with some. Then I think like, hey, if you're with somebody you don't like them, it's awful. But like you and Beth, I mean, that's all you need is Beth. I mean, you guys could be living in a shack and you'd be happy. And that's so great. It's really hard.
Wow.
Okay, so who pulled the 911? Yeah. Who pulled the 911 to get Ralph, Bob? Who said, Ralph, you have to call right now and script this and fucking save his ass? Like, you got to toss that lifesaver off the boat and you got to help him. Because you know for a fucking fact, Ralph in the morning is not listening to this shit. Somebody called him and pressed the fucking panic button. Okay. Who?
So anyone that would tell Howard, all you need is a shack and you'll be fine. Howard complains about a Midtown Manhattan luxury condo with fucking limo service.
Yeah.
So I don't know who pulls that. I don't know if just Ralph is on standby that's what Ralph is. Ralph is the other narcissist.
Ralph has a direct line to the red phone.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, really, like, I don't know. I don't know who would have called him, but that's what Ralph is. Ralph is just a supremely dysfunctional narcissist that will feed into whatever Howard needs him to feed into. So
yeah, Sam.
But Fillmore, we think that Ralph has been his lifelong partner, and Beth's a beard in a contract, which I think is completely obvious for multiple reasons, which we've explained over time. So, who is the person who says, "Okay"? Clearly, the beard relationship is devolving right now. We are becoming uncovered. Beth is not liking her slave labor at the moment during COVID. And Ralph has to come in the conversation and save not only the relationship, but we have to solidify the fact that Beth is perfect for you. You guys could be happy in a shack. Who's the one who says, do this? Because you know it's not him.
I think Bowie coordinates that. I think Bowie just goes, Ralph, we might need your fucking... we might need your... yeah, just because you need some kind of bullshit coordinator, and that would be Bowie, and he's got nothing else to do. So it's like, who can I get to back him up? Marianne from Brooklyn's not answering. She's probably asleep. Well, who knows, or whatever. King of All Blacks, I can't reach him. Bobo, I could get. or Ralph. And then Wig just decides, let's pick up on Ralph. Boom, there you go. Who better
Ralph
than
has
Ralph?
A certain amount of, he has more esteem than the other underlings, I guess call them.
Okay.
All right, okay, let's power through.
Heartwarming.
And he should move to a shack now because they can't keep this house up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's way too big for Beth. Poor Beth. I mean,
I said to Beth, why don't we just live in 2 rooms of the house? And
she's falling down and he's laughing. He just goes, she's falling down.
Yeah, why don't we just live in 2 rooms? Don't you already live in 2 rooms, yours and hers?
Could you imagine me saying, Fillmore, your wife's falling down?
I could imagine if you were the fucking Kathleen Warnos or whatever the one that Charlize Theron played in Monster. Jesus Christ! I mean,
where are you gonna put the cats?
That's the problem. This is what I'm telling you.
Well, Howard, can't you
she's running an entire rescue operation out of here, and she has such a big heart that she refuses to turn away any cats, especially these pregnant cats or blind.
She's Mother Beth Teresa with these fucking cats washing their feet.
She's such a dumb bitch with all the. I mean, she has such a big heart with all these cats. I can't get rid of her. I mean, I can't get her to make a decision with what she's doing with them.
Just see him poisoning all this cat food one day. Oh, Jesus.
Blind cats. So she has such a big heart. But the irony is the cats are going to kill Beth.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh my God. And this is the guy. Oh my God.
What?
This is the guy who's gets up at the North Shore Animal League Gala and spreads cheer.
Yeah. Shit.
Like seriously, like a piece of plastic or something, and separate parts so
No.
it can't get through, and put the cats over there and let people come in and help.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way for Beth.
Yes,
doesn't
it
work that way.
could work that way. That's how they
She doesn't want to do that. You're not here.
She doesn't want to do that. I don't want people in the house, so they're not fucking coming to the house. Don't.
Okay.
Yeah. No, everybody hears the same thing. Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Pretend this isn't cats. Pretend this is drugs, right? Like an intervention.
Sure.
They're having an intervention right now on Howard, and they're saying she needs help. Like, you need to get people in there to help her, or she is going to fall apart, and your household is going to fall apart. And he is that, on intervention. They say, no. She's the one who does it. No, you don't understand. She's not so denial and push people away. And no, you don't understand. She has to do it with the cats, but you can't do it with the cats. No, you don't understand. It's seriously like an episode of Intervention.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, this might be the most demented intervention I've ever heard in my life, but I've helped on a couple. So.
This woman is all I'm getting.
Yeah.
Here.
No I know that I'm seeing she's falling all over the place.
Oh.
Eventually she's going to hurt herself, and then you'll have to go to the hospital.
What do you mean, me? Go to the hospital? I ain't going anywhere. Go to the hospital.
What, are you going to tend to her wounds?
Yeah, I'm going to have to learn.
Set her leg?
I'll go online and learn how to do it. Like I'm doing everything else.
Oh, my fucking Lord. Like, there's no bottom. I mean, except for Ralph.
Do you remember when he said that he wouldn't donate a kidney to his child or an organ to save their life?
That was in that questionnaire. Awful questions to the staff. I love that clip. And he goes, no. He goes, Mikey, I'm very important. Yeah.
I really, I cannot believe what a piece of shit he is.
He doesn't give a fucking shit about her.
No, of course not.
He couldn't give a fuck.
How's this fall at odds with sweet love, my sweet love? I love her, my wife. This, that bullshit.
Hey, we are the perfect couple. Everybody better shut the fuck up. This is the love of my life. I just,
she would have been better off staying in Mexico and becoming a fucking call girl.
Honestly,
as opposed to being in Saudi Arabia and being a call girl.
Yeah, and those modeling years are a little sketchy.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well, that's the end of that particular avenue of Beth and Howard NPD. Believe it or not, this is the third of 3 parts. That's how much there was. And I believe if we really wanted to stretch it, we could have made it 17 parts. But we're not going to torture you guys any more than we've tortured ourselves. Thanks so much for listening. Bob, any closing thoughts before we wrap this saga up? And it is a saga. It's like fucking north and south. It's like roots.
No closing parts, no closing thoughts. I'll see you guys pretty soon.
Yeah.
We'll figure out something else to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bob is like the Columbo of NPD.
Excuse me.
He's like, it's just great. He's just like dry and wonderful. And then all of a sudden, when you least expect it, he just hits you with all the knowledge. And you're like, fuck, I'm going to jail.
Great analogy. Well, the guys, the next time we have Bob, and I believe maybe something along the lines of the whole. This is one I toyed with the idea with you, Bob, months ago, about the whole staff departure thing and how he affects the awful departure. So the Scott Einziger thing, Stuttering John, Isaac Mark, people that leave him, and then how he treats them. And how he treats them as they're leaving and after they've left. And I think the abuse that they sort of get on the way out the door, I think that would be a good a one-parter. It might be worth it in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sam, any closing thoughts or any little, promo plugs you want to give? This is the time to plug them.
One more thing.
Sure.
Just kidding. That's it.
Okay. Well, guys,
Goodbye,
if you love our podcast on Podbean or whatever you're using, also please subscribe to our YouTube channel and check us out on Facebook. Quite frankly, a Howard Stern podcast. We're on Twitter as well. I'm at Fillmore Fingers. Sammy's at Sammy Therese. And Bob will be back in another future episode. But for the meantime, I'd like everybody to give him a silent round of applause for Bob's work. He's done a wicked job all the way. Thank you so much for being with us all the way, Bob. And hang tight, and we'll give you lots of painkillers for the next episode.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Oh man, bye.
Take care, guys.
Oh, just real quick, I was also calling because I just wanted to say my tour on the 17th of June.
Thanks, Eric. All right, buddy.
Eric, what? I couldn't hear you. What did you say?
I said the tour that I'm
Take care, man. Don't ever call back.